right, y'all are rolling.
All right, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Ben's a man.
He just put his microphone in now so he can chime in.
Yeah, the speakers.
Yeah, now I got a house speaker, so you can really hear me.
It's good. It's a beautiful.
All right,
beer.
everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Outsider Podcast. I'm Sam Mackey, and I have my co-host here, smoking, Jay Cutler.
Your intros are getting better, I feel like.
Well, thank you. I've been working on them. Not really, but
That was sarcasm from me.
and today we have some dear friends and some special folks on. We have John and Drew from Breeo Fire Pits, now pizza ovens, and we're here to talk to them about.
Well, let's get down. Let's figure out some shit, though, real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, is this all natural? I mean, are we coloring it? Are we curling it? Like, what's happening here?
Show the audience. Give us a little turn
let's
of the
like-
head.
let's like- I
little
mean-
So I'm glad you guys asked. Because this is my natural hair, my natural complexion. I don't. Unfortunately for the listeners and viewers out there, I don't try. This just happens naturally. If you need my hair care tips, follow me on Instagram. I'll be able to help you out with that.
We're not giving away any secrets for free, though.
Yeah, they're not free. Yeah, there's a barter system.
What you will come to know about Drew is that his whole life is a barter system. So in all aspects.
Yeah, money grows on trees around here, but the experiences and the bartering back and forth, that's more of a story, right? Yeah, I worked for 8 hours and I got paid $50 an hour, whatever. But like, no, I traded this guy a bus for a new bike. Like that like that's the story. Like, and I have plenty. We can get into it. Like
How long? I mean, was there a big transition period? I mean, how did this go?
No, there was. It's
pretty natural?
Just grows out of my head
Yep.
pretty naturally, and
Yep.
and once it gets past the shoulders, it's a chick magnet.
Just beating them off with a stick.
Literally, yeah. And like I said, this is it, boys. Like,
Are you gonna let it go?
no, I usually hit the shoulders, and then when I can stretch the curls out and it touches my nipple, I get it cut off, and I donate it to Pantene so they can make wigs for cancer patients, and then I start over again.
Pantene? I thought it was Locks of Love.
Well, Locks of Love, you might want to do a little research to where you donate your stuff. You might want to do some little research. Pantene is a little more my vibe. They take care of stuff a little better, in my opinion, than Locks of Love does. But we don't need to get into that. We can. No, but yeah, summertime. When you guys met me a year ago, you had a beard and all that stuff. I usually take that off in the summer and regrow it again in the winter for ski season, and then around my birthday, I take it off. But we did TAC this year at Seven Springs. It was a beautiful event, and I kept my handlebar boy on my face, my handlebar mustache. So
I do miss that. That's my favorite Drew look.
Yeah.
Very nice stash.
Straight down.
So I mean, this you've got a method. Your whole seasonal approach
very
here
seasonal,
to your.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I'm a 4-season person. I know what I need and I know what I like, and I stick by it.
Yeah.
I stick by
Perfect.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, while we're down this rabbit hole, your website.
Yeah. DrewDBell.com. Let's
get into it.
Or Breeo.com.
Yeah.
Which one?
Just tell. I forgot the
Yeah.
the most of it. So enlighten us.
So yeah, one of my previous jobs, everybody, it was like everything was about the website. They were worried about their website not being good, all this stuff. I said, well, it's easy to make a website, but it's hard to make a website look good. And they all didn't believe me. So I made a website. I made a website, and I made a simple website, and the ball got rolling, and the ball got deeper and bigger and bigger and bigger until I have this website now, which is pretty much just a list of my capabilities and attributes and previous work. So it's more of like a resume at this
What's
point.
the website?
DrewDBell.com. I own my domain for 25 years. I bought it. It's my full name. And John was kind of poking fun at me for having my own website. And then when he created the Grill Dog, I saw that grilldog.com was available. And I jokingly said, I'm going to buy it. The next day, it was not available because John had bought it. He was worried I was going to hold it hostage and sell it back to him.
I thought we were
Barter
going to go
economy.
into a hell of a bartering story.
It was going to be,
Well, it would have been. It would have
there
been.
was a narrow window to
there,
first mover advantage.
Yeah, so on my website at the bottom, my it hasn't been updated in quite some time, probably about a year and a half. But the last one on there is domain name broker because I was out in California for a sales call trip for Breeo, and John had called me up and asked me to stop by the home of the person who owned Breeo.com.
Totally legal.
It would.
Yeah.
I knocked on the guy's door and asked him if we could buy the domain back.
What do you say?
No, but
Everyone's got a price.
yeah, everyone's got a price.
Yeah.
He said no at first, but that opened the conversation. And a few months later,
Was he like, how the hell did you get my address? Why are you
well,
on
it's
my
all
front
public
porch?
knowledge. It's all on there.
Okay.
If you're not hidden behind an LLC or anything, you can find out where these people live. It's all on there when you do. It's just
Gotcha.
like you know how it is.
What was he doing with the website? Just holding it?
I asked him that, and he said
Holding it
about
hostage?
15 years ago, before Breeo, as you guys
Sure.
know, was even a company, him and his wife were going to start a company with the same name, and I forget what they were going to do. It was like arts and craftsy or something, but they had bought it in hopes to start a company even before Breeo Fire Pits was a thing. Like they were, and they just held on to it, and unbeknownst to John, he chose this name. And they already own the domain, so and it was dead. So
Yeah.
people would go to Breeo.com and it would be dead, and they would find out that it was Breeo.co. But domain name broker, add it to the list, add it to the capability.
So you
So
got
long
it.
story
We got
short,
it.
Breeo.com is now our website. So
yeah,
great work, Drew.
thank you.
He was the right man for the job. I think
Yeah.
I heard somebody, Elon, I think, was trying to buy Tesla or something. He said, we found our nicest guy and said, go sit in their steps until they sell the domain. And I took that right from him and sent our nicest guy, Drew.
Was it
Really?
a tough negotiation?
I didn't do any of the negotiating. Well, I did ask John. I said, "What's the number in your head I'm allowed to say yes to if this guy like throws something out?"
Sure.
It was not a tough negotiation. It was one of the most nervous times I've ever had in my life. I've knocked on the door, and nothing happened.
What time of day?
Afternoon. Knocked on the door, like waited the normal minute, never came out, and I was like, I don't know, man. I took a half a step back, and then boom, the door opens up, and he goes, "Hey, who are you?" And I explained everything and what we're doing and how we're a small company. The domain would really help us grow to the next step. And do you know anything about our company? He goes, "Yes, I do. I'm from Pennsylvania."
Oh,
Like he knew.
that was good.
Yeah, he was from like Scranton.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, then I don't need to explain anymore. I know we've reached out in the past. Like, please let's open this line of communication again." And he goes, "I'll talk it over with my wife." And then I shook his
They
hand.
weren't doing anything. It's free money.
That's right. That's right. But that was it. We had to come to whatever the term
Sure.
was, whatever he wanted, and they agreed upon a number, and we own it. We own it now. Breeo.com.
We tried to get Outsider on Instagram, and it was a similar. It's a French rapper or something that has it. And,
Really?
Yeah. Reached out to him multiple times. We've had a couple of people reach out to him, but it's kind of dead. They don't do anything with it. But I mean,
Yeah.
no, I think he wanted like 100 or something.
Really?
And I was like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Like, let's get realistic about it.
Yeah,
And it
not
just
for an Instagram.
Fell off the map.
Just play the long game.
Play the
Because
long
you're the only customer.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, no one else. No one else.
you know where we're at.
Yeah, no one else is offering you money.
And you should actually be having somebody check to see if it dies and
Yeah.
it becomes available before you have to buy it from this guy. Because there's a certain amount of inactivity.
Yeah, like what is that? How is like a year of inactivity, a couple years of inactivity?
I don't know the hard data on that, but I know my buddy had a handle that he was tagged in forever ago, switched his handle, and then I went back to an old post where the original tag was, and it's a whole new person. So, and that was 2 years. Wow. So, and I was like, I thought it'd be black.
If someone deletes a handle, it's a week before it pops back up.
Oh, gotcha.
So, Breeo, you guys are from Pennsylvania. Tell us the Breeo story from the conception, if you don't mind.
Sure. So, so I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, which is a central Ontario nickel mining town. And
Nickel mining?
nickel
Nickel.
mining. They have a
Yep.
giant nickel on the hill. Very important during World War II.
Good for batteries.
Yeah.
What do you say?
NiCad batteries, nickel.
Okay.
That's why we're mining nickel.
What else is nickel good for?
Nickels
Thank you.
and alloys.
Grew up there and grew up in the outdoors. Grew up where I could walk from behind my house for like a 30-mile straight line and not cross a road. That was my kind of growing up experience. And then we moved to Toronto when I was in my teens. Fast forward, moved to Pennsylvania in college, working for a fencing company, got a marketing degree, doing the agency thing. And I really wanted to do something in product. I wanted to be able to build something that over time could continue to build and build and build, as opposed to more of a service type business where you're kind of redoing it every year to some degree. So that was the vision. One of my friends in Ohio said, I met this Amish guy that has a fire pit that doesn't smoke. His name was Andy Kaufman. So I rolled in there. He didn't know who I was, and I was like, I don't see it.
Andy Kaufman, wasn't that?
Different Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Very different.
Okay.
So Andy, I met him and I was like, dude, this has, I think he used the words broad market potential is what I called it. Because I knew that, the number one problem with the campfire is smoke. And for folks that have asthma or health issues, it can be even worse. So it's like, hey, this product's amazing. It was like a functioning prototype. They were selling a few locally. And I was like, I think this has national appeal. So we partnered. That was in 2013. We partnered in 2014 and started Breeo. He had been calling it Camp King fire pits before that. So the first prototypes that he developed was 2011. So it was the first smokeless fire pit ever invented. And then 2014, we started Breeo.
Was he an engineer or anything, or just?
He wasn't. He worked with a local
Andy?
metal fabrication, and then the original idea came from a guy named Junior Troyer, which is like his just down the road family relative. So the two of them developed that first prototype and just kept kind of welding different versions of it together until it was functioning the way they wanted.
Are these guys Amish?
Yes, both of them were Amish. Yeah,
Knew it.
yeah.
Knew it.
14 we started. I'll give Cliff Notes. 14 we started Breeo. We had one product. We called it the Ablaze Fire Pit. It was painted black and it had cooking accessories. And we took it to the Salt Lake City trade show it was in Salt Lake City, the HPBA, which is Hearth, Patio, and Barbecue Association. It moves around. That year is in Salt Lake. Went out there. We ended up winning the Best in Show award for most innovative product, which we were like brand new company. We're stoked. We're like, oh, we're going to the moon.
Sure.
And like came back from the show and there's like nobody's buying these things. They're like $800 at that time. Wood burning fire pits. It's like you bought the little bowl at Lowe's. That's just
couple $100.
Yeah, or you put some rocks in a circle, right? So just crickets that first year. I think we did like 90K that year. I was still full time at the agency and part time at Breeo, and we didn't have any employees. And then 15 went full time Breeo, and that year we almost 10x. And the difference was. We took that same product, but we adapted it to fit into like built-in paver stone fire pits, because I was just looking around the market and I'm like, where are people currently spending money on wood burning fire pits? Because they're spending $5,000 on a gas fire pit table. But like, how do we adopt our technology, because it's expensive, it's American made, to what the consumers are doing? Built that and started selling to brick and block yards, and that just crushed. So from so that would have been 15 up until like 2019. That was the main product that we pushed. In 2017, I partnered with my current partner, Amos. He's also Amish. He's my partner at Breeo, and he was our manufacturer before that in Pennsylvania. So that's when the company moved from Ohio to Pennsylvania. In 17, we joined forces, bought Andy out. He wanted to move on, so we bought out his shares and partnered with Amos, and that's how it's been since then. So that's the origin.
Okay.
So how does Amos get around? Tractor?
No, when he's at his
multiple
home,
methods.
Multiple methods at home. He's got a very nice buggy, horse-drawn carriage, and for when it's business time, he's got a really nice driver named Jakey. Shout out to Jakey. He's a really nice guy. Jakey Brubaker is a real sweetheart, and he's Amos's full-time driver.
So he can ride in a car. He just can't drive.
Yes,
the car.
yes. Most Amish, all Amish, if they're practicing, they do not drive, but they can ride in a car or a train or in a buggy or whatever, limo, whatever.
all the Amish up in Kentucky, they drive their tractor. They can drive their tractors.
Yep.
Yes.
Some have tractors. Steel wheels. Ours by us, they have to have steel wheels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and you'll see them destroying the road. There's some legislation going through currently
Steel
to add
wheels?
rubber. Yeah, all steel. Yeah, all steel. Like
I don't think I've ever seen that.
like
I don't know if I have
you
either.
guys see it. So they take a regular tractor, like you and I know,
Yep.
combine, whatever, and get steel wheels.
Where the hell do you get steel wheels at?
the other Amish guy down the street who's building steel wheels? Like,
Aren't they heavy as shit?
yeah, really heavy, and they destroy the roads.
Yeah,
They
dude,
chew it
it
all
has
up.
to sound awful going down the road.
Yes. So where I live, in little semi-rural outside of Lancaster City, you can hear the buggies and the tractors coming before anything else because there's wheel whoosh, 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 whoosh,
Yeah.
and the clip clop of the horses. You hear it. It's loud. It's cool. We're in the country. It's beautiful noise. It's a lot different than cars and people buzzing by in a big city. So it's nice. It's relaxing.
So, did Solo Stove steal the idea from you guys?
I wouldn't say so. So they had in 2011 they had a little camp burner.
Okay.
They've always been a great competitor. I say that because they're an imported product, still relatively high price point, and they help grow the category. So I'm a believer. We of course will pretty aggressively protect our exact IP and intellectual property, but I'm a believer that in general competition is good for a category.
Yeah. Rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Solo Stove, I kind of had my eye on them as a few people that might compete with us.
Yeah.
I remember I was walking into church for a Bible study. My phone pinged, and it was a Solo Stove email, and it said something's coming, and I was like, I know what this is. So they launched their first fire pit in the fall of 2016 on Kickstarter. So we had been on the market for a couple of years.
They were on Kickstarter.
They were
Yep.
Kickstarter.
So that was
What's Kickstarter?
It's like
It's a crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
Like if you have a cool idea,
We'll
and
have
you
him
don't
answer all the trivia questions.
Yeah, a Kickstarter is a way to kickstart your business or your product off the ground by crowdfunding, getting pre-orders pretty much. So
Gotcha.
if you want to sell a unique microphone stand, but you can't afford the manufacturing, you'll put it on Kickstarter and you'll get 1,000 people to pay you up front so you can get it done. And if you don't reach it, they get the money back.
Yeah. It used to be more popular, I would say. I did a leather company in 2017 like that.
Really?
Yeah.
there used to be a lot of cool stuff on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You just go in there and just kind of surf.
Does it still exist?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like John said, it's not as popular anymore. Everything's been invented, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
It is hard to invent something.
disagree.
So the original stove, did you have the cooking accessories and
Yes.
everything up top?
So cooking, I remember that the very first conversations. So when I was at the agency,
Yeah.
Breeo was also a client. So I was kind of like I was getting Breeo going, and they're also a client. And I was talking with some of the folks internally about this idea of this product. And right from the get-go, it was like, okay, is this a fire pit or is this a grill?
Yeah.
Because we had cooking accessories right from day one. And that has continued to this day where it's like some people think of us as cooking, some people think of us completely as ambiance, a smokeless fire pit.
Sure.
So that has always been part of the story.
How thick is the steel that you guys use on those?
So it depends on the fire pit and the surface, but we'll use 11 gauge for a lot of parts, 12 for some parts. It depends on the product.
And for those listening that don't know what 12 gauge steel is, if you kick this thing real hard, it would break your toe.
Yeah, your toe will break much quicker than this. We've had a lot of fun doing feats of strength. And
Have you
see
shot one?
Yeah, well,
With a pumpkin,
yes, we shot one with a pumpkin.
What launched the pumpkin?
a humongous pumpkin chucking apparatus, a pumpkin rifle. It was like
It's
air powered.
similar to powered differently. But I heard you guys were talking with I think Josh about his cannon that he shoots
Yeah.
bowling balls with. So this one's air powered.
Yeah,
but it launches them
same caliber.
300 yards probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For even some
300
even further.
yards?
For a
Even
pumpkin,
further.
and it holds shape. Yeah.
Yeah, you should look it up. Pumpkin chucking. It's pretty big in the Northeast. And
So we
they
shot
have,
a Breeo and then we shot a
evidence.
Solo Stove. It's quite a different
Yeah.
Nice.
reaction.
Yeah, the feats of strength is fun because our stuff is overbuilt to last a lifetime. Like the one,
I will say if you kick a Solo Stove, it will dent.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
You have
can-
personal experience?
we
I
can.
have a lot of experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot.
I gave mine to the neighbor.
Are you?
Yeah, I never use it.
Yeah.
And
They're not.
They're
They're thin.
just like a
They're
beer
very
can that
thin.
gets dented all to hell.
Yeah,
Oh, this pumpkin chunking is a thing.
it's
Oh,
real.
yeah. Oh, there's a
not
huge
joke.
community.
Yes, and like they get together for
Those are like
festivals.
Housers.
They're
They are.
not small.
Yeah, pneumatic powered, gas powered,
Oh my.
all different stuff, and they shoot them long distance, short distance, hit targets, all that stuff, and And by us, they had an event for it, and we got the name of a guy at an event, and he was so excited.
loved it.
He was
He
so
loved
excited to do this for us.
So, is there any that are kind of the same method as a potato gun launcher?
Yes.
I'm not, and you just have a bunch of Aquanet or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
What do they use instead of Aquanet? Like butane or
propane, butane. Yeah, propane power. Most are pneumatic. Some are old school, like trebuchets. Just anything to throw a pumpkin out. They got catapults, whatever. It's just any way you could chuck it.
And there's different categories.
Yes, and
So accuracy, distance.
yep, you'll see. Like it's a whole community. It's a whole world.
Ben, you got this?
It's actually really big in Oklahoma. My high school's senior project was to build a pumpkin trebuchet.
There you go.
That was like the senior physics project for my school.
A pumpkin what?
trebuchet.
trebuchet.
It's a siege. It's a piece of siege
Of course you know
equipment
this,
used
Drew.
in. Yeah, they throw stuff really far. You've seen it probably in Gladiator.
Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Gladiator.
What do you think the world record is for a pumpkin cannon
Are we talking distance?
distance?
2 miles.
What?
Dude, think higher than you think. Think whatever number you have ahead, double it.
I'll go ahead and say it's
1.57.
okay. It's 5,500 feet, so a little over a mile.
Yeah.
It's a long ass way
Yeah.
to throw a pumpkin.
To keep that pumpkin intact.
Intact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5,000.
Well, they grow specific pumpkins for them. It's
Oh,
like
they do?
Yeah, because the caliber, they have to
Yeah.
fit nice to get the good seal.
you got to grow your ammunition. It's like
We missed this time, but
Dude, they fly.
give me 8 months. I'm going to grow some more ammo.
Imagine
I'm
a
coming
pumpkin.
for you.
Imagine a pumpkin falling out of the sky. You're just a mile away from anything. Vroom. They'll kill you.
It would kill you.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I was just reading that there was a annual thing in a lady critical condition because
Oh, issue.
her cannon, I don't know, something happened, misfired or something.
malfunction.
She got
Some
smoked.
back blast.
Yeah. Pumpkin chunkin.
Yeah, it's cool.
I wonder who the top pumpkin chunker is out there. in
Let's
the
get him
world.
on the
Yeah,
podcast.
no,
Call
yeah.
him
Get
up.
him on.
I got a lot of questions for that guy.
Yeah, well, you got the outlet. Here it is.
So, I mean, there's a seed program behind this that,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
have to have the right
the
seed.
full supply chain.
Yeah.
Full supply chain.
Monsanto's probably investing. They're probably
Monsanto's definitely invested. You know, there's certain corn for popcorn too.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And it pops on the husk if you want.
Yeah.
You can put the whole husk in and just run the microwave.
We had.
I did not know this.
Yeah, they planted in Kentucky. The farmer that we lease out ground to, he planted. Luke was like, he's planted popcorn. I was like, isn't that just corn? He's like, no, it's a special seed for popcorn.
Yeah.
I love popcorn.
Yeah, we
And then there's many varieties of popcorn. Like Ladyfinger is a big one around our area.
yeah, we were just talking about corn on the way down. How what was the yield per acre now or something like?
It's just a lot.
We were just talking about how they grow corn so close together, and like it definitely wasn't like that. Like
Do deer
100 years ago?
Like the popcorn?
Not as much, no.
Gotcha.
It's not very sweet.
No, it's not
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it stays, and they get it when it's pretty hard though. Still,
Yeah.
You know, like
gotta
normal corn,
pop.
they get it after it's too softens up and
Yep.
stuff. They're pulling this stuff early.
Interesting. So when did you? So you started. You started using or developing the cooktops, everything right away. What's your favorite apparatus that you have for Breeo?
I'm gonna answer this because of course I could say everything,
Yeah.
but there is something that we just came out with a couple weeks ago that I'm actually really stoked on. It's called the Breeo flat top. We've always had different griddle ways of cooking. So we had our sear plate griddle, which is a giant metal donut, which is awesome. But the flat top, it's a rectangle and kind of like a Blackstone, goes on the side of your fire pit, and it's heavy carbon steel, and it has sort of like sides on three sides. So when you're I call them food stopper edges, when you flip your burger, it's not falling in the fire. It's got grease channels, super easy to take on and off. I've been loving using like smash burgers.
Is that what you guys did the brat smash burgers on?
Recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Recently, yes.
Yes.
It would
Yeah, I
be,
just
yeah,
saw
we
that.
did that.
Yeah. No, we need to get you one of those.
Yeah.
Does it swing up over the fire?
No, it's just straight on.
Yep. This
Yep.
just
But you
rides
can
the
run
lip.
it. Run
okay.
it with it. You don't need any other accessory. If you own a fire pit, just buy that. In fact, you could use it even on a fire on the ground.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
a
if
giant
you-
piece of
it's just
carbon
giant
steel.
comes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
With 3 edges.
Yeah, my favorite is the Outpost grill. Because it's so versatile. The Outpost
So,
is
funny
you guys,
story.
because you can use it over the fire pit
Do
or
whatever
the
you want
ground.
with it.
So a funny story about Drew and the Outpost. So this past year we were at an event, and it was
a good
it was
one.
an event. Drew was not. I won't name the
Event.
event, but Drew was not in a great mood, And
Long days. I'm always in a good mood.
Always in a good
But it's
mood.
long days. It's cranky.
Somebody walked up to me and looked at the point of the outpost and said, "What's that worth?" And I was standing maybe like 5 feet away, and Drew's like, "Well, it's worth a lot. The price."
Yeah. What's
So
that
that's been in
worth?
my head. So I'll randomly say that. Just
Yeah. What's that worth? And that gets you on conversations on what things are worth for what their value is. But
you like the outpost is my point.
yeah, the Outpost is a very good product. It's multi-use. It comes with a carrying case. So I take it camping without the fire pit because you can hammer it into the ground
hang it
and
over
use
your
it over
fire.
a campfire.
Yeah.
It's great.
Were you always into cooking?
Always.
Really?
Yep. As a kid, I loved it. I worked at a butcher shop for a while. I grew up. We would process our own beef and deer and that kind of thing. And so just the whole process. I don't know. I like sort of analog things, like cutting things up and cooking them and seeing, kind of how it's a very like physical experience when you cook and eat something.
It's rewarding, right?
Yeah.
Like I know we're
Instant
not growing our
gratification.
food or butchering all our stuff every day, but ingredients, recipe, follow it, cook it, serve it. It's easier than it looks, but it's so wholesome and like I did it.
My favorite part of cooking is when other people actually enjoy my food.
Yeah, that
And watching them
That's
like eat it and like it,
Yeah, I agree.
That's very fulfilling. To
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
I mean, going off what you said about kind of crowd pleasers, I like just throwing a tomahawk on because it's just a universal reaction, especially if your crowd involves a bunch of guys. People love a tomahawk. And then beyond that, I just love wild game. So I love moose. It's probably my favorite wild game. And then any form of red meat. I really love ducks like mallards. We had a great hunt in Montana
Yeah.
last year.
How do you cook it?
I pluck. I'm a big plucker.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of time.
You put
It's
the
worth
whole
it.
thing.
We
whole
plucked the whole thing.
thing.
He made me pluck the whole thing.
We plucked 21 ducks with Drew there, and I initiated him into duck hunting the
that
right
was my
and the
first
hard
hunt.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
This
my
takes
first hunt.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Montana. John invited me to come hunt with him, and I said, sure, this will be my first hunt. And the first thing he was worried about was if I was gonna be warm enough.
Okay.
And I said, John, I ski all winter. I said the only thing I'm worried about is hiding in your blind. I'm camo.
That was an issue.
So I bought some camo, and I showed up and I said, John, like I want you to hold my hand a little bit, but I want the full experience. Like up in the morning, help you with the decoys, help with the blind, help with the plucking, help with the butchering, cooking, all of it. I go, I don't want this to be some outfitter experience where you take care of it. Like I want the full as it can be experienced.
Sure.
And I left somewhere warm, the Pacific Northwest, flew into Montana, and the temperature dropped like 40 degrees while I was in the air. It was like -10 when he picked me up. It was snowing. Everything was freezing over except for this little pond we were hunting on.
Yep.
And I didn't know it at the time that's like
Do you have like
duck-
de-icers?
that's duck gold. It was mallards, right?
No, like how is it not frozen?
So,
It's spring fed.
dude,
Okay.
so
you got a little honey hole.
dude.
And I didn't know. I'm like, is this
So
what
this
it's
guy
always
comes
like?
in. So I'm a lifetime waterfowler, right? I grew up like cutting out of plywood, my decoys for field hunting in Canada, and like because my dad he was a hunter but wasn't a waterfowler, so I learned all that. Anyways, so I've spent a lifetime trying to find that perfect
sure.
where you're picking green heads, right?
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of success, but it's hard to pull it off. So I got permission on this pond. When we got there, this is a week-long hunt. Drew's coming halfway through.
Yeah.
Okay. We get there, it's 72 degrees.
Oh gosh.
All the birds are in Alberta. We're
Sure.
in western Montana.
Okay.
All the birds are in Alberta. A couple local birds have already been shot up because we're at the end of October.
Yeah.
And I look at the forecast, and there's just this front coming in.
Real cold.
So first day and a half, the hunting sucked.
Yeah.
The day before that, we limited out on public on it. We had found a pond on block management land, and we limited out mixed bag. But we're like, okay, it's coming. And just that day, I gotten permission on this pond that was walking distance from our Airbnb, separate property.
Oh, wow.
You could see it from the Airbnb.
yeah.
Sure.
Stone's throw, literally.
And at this point, all the water's open.
Yeah.
All the water, right? And so then the cold front hits, and within 24 hours, most stuff had iced up. Within 48, everything was iced.
Except this pond.
But the pond was actually split. The half we were allowed to hunt on was spring fed. So I'm talking like it's Arctic conditions.
Yeah.
Drew rolls in. We had one hunt like that where we picked we have a 3-man limit
Yep.
of nothing but green.
Yep.
Right? And it's 7-bird limits in Montana, right?
Okay.
This is like the best duck hunting you're going to get, right?
Sure.
Drew shows up and I'm like, Drew, what you're about to experience is not normal.
Yeah.
Like you're coming in your very first duck hunt at the apex of my experience duck
Yeah.
hunting. Anyway, continue.
It was unbelievable. So woke up, helped them set the blind. Like they were throwing decoys. We get in the blind, and my first hunting experience. I got the license, all the stuff from Montana, all that stuff, and
Your duck stamp.
and we're sitting in there. We're all sitting in there, 4 of us wide with a dog, and it's starting to get, it's freezing.
Yeah.
But I'm warm. I'm wearing the appropriate gear, and
What kind of blind were you guys working with here?
I like using the like the
pop-up?
A-frame, like the A-frame, like 4,
Yeah.
like it's comfortable with 3,
Yeah.
with 4.
yeah, we were in, and 2 birds land, and John's buddy Mikey goes, "This is Drew's first hunt. He gets the first 2 ducks," and I'm like, "Do I shoot him now?" He goes, "No, we've got to wait 3 minutes, like 7:36, whenever the sun was coming." I was
Sure,
like,
sure,
"Okay, that's
sure.
good to know." And then I'm like, "They're in the water. This doesn't feel like hunting if I'm just gonna shoot them in the water." And John goes, "Just stand up, they'll fly away."
Yeah.
And then 7:36, oh no, right before that, John goes, "I hope all this sporting clay shooting you've been doing worked." And so 7:36, they go, "Okay, you can shoot."
What are you shooting?
I brought
Oh,
my
boy.
sporting clay gun, which was an issue for them, not for me.
So
Well,
when they say pull, is it one of those that you release the trigger and the weapon goes off?
So I don't shoot like that. It's normally older guys who have not as fast finger. They release triggers.
Gotcha.
Because
Yep.
releasing is faster than pulling
Yep.
for
I
your
would
muscle.
love a release trigger gun.
Yeah,
Have you shot a rifle with a set trigger?
What's a set trigger?
You could put your finger behind the trigger. Like say your trigger pull is 3 pounds. You put your finger behind it and push it forward, then it'll go down to like 8 ounces.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've got a gun that has a trigger that if you pull it, it shoots, and then when you release it, it shoots. Actually, we probably should edit this out.
Yeah, that doesn't sound. That sounds like it's broken. You might want to get that fixed.
I've got a broken gun.
Yeah, you
that
might wanna
does
get that
that.
fixed.
It's getting fixed right now.
Yeah. Well, I.
So you bring your sporting.
I brought
sporting
my
clay.
32
clay. It's a-
32-inch barrels.
Yeah, Browning
I mean,
Satori,
your gun's this big.
extended
Dude.
chokes. Really
He's in the
nice.
blind. That thing's
Really nice
sticking
birds.
way out.
Yeah, but that's not the least. So the birds, I stand up when it's time to shoot. The birds fly away, bang, bang. They fall down. The dog gets them, come back, and great. And that game on.
Yeah.
So now we're waiting. Birds are coming in. Bang, 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 bang. Hour and a half, 45 minutes later, that's it. It's over. We
Yeah.
hit our limit.
Done.
It was it. I go, wow, this is cool. Like, this is duck hunting? And they're like, no.
Pretty
this
easy.
Is not duck hunting. They were coming in so much. I shot one over the blind and we couldn't find it because it had so much momentum. It landed on the land
Yeah.
behind us like 20 feet.
Huck found it.
Yeah, the dog found it. And so I have this big, tall gun, the only one sticking out of the blind. Like
Was it
6
Benelli?
inches.
But
No,
that-
it's a Browning Satori 725, 32-inch barrels, extended chokes.
Pretty gun.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
gun. Great for sporting clays. Great in this dirty duck blind too. I'm like, great. I'm glad I bought this really nice gun to be dumping in the mud. But that's not the best part. That's not the most obnoxious part. The most obnoxious part is I bought gloves.
This is too soon to talk about, Drew.
We can
John
talk
is a
about
good
it.
deep breath.
go-
He was
go.
just like,
I just am not over this yet.
He's not over it. Because I bought these amazing gloves, but they weren't camo. They were bright blue. They kept my hands so warm and I had so much articulation. I could do everything with these gloves on, but they were bright blue. They're for like crab fishermen pulling in pods and stuff.
were they rubber?
Yeah, rubber gauntlets, and they have good grip. All of it. They were really great for plucking, and they kept my hands warm.
They were all purpose.
Yeah, I know. Except they weren't camo. John was very upset that I may have been scaring ducks away.
Not May.
But there were
Did.
so many ducks.
Yeah, the first day, but we had multiple days.
Yeah.
They got a little harder, and we had flocks. I would look over at Drew, my left, and he's a tall gentleman.
And my gun sticking out.
His
my
hands
big
are up
gloves.
high. He's also a very active gentleman, right? And I'm looking over. Everyone, including the dog, is stock, still, and camo. And then there's just blue gloves moving all around. And the flock circles once, flare, gone.
With dexterity like that,
Flare
you can't
gun.
hold them still.
Yeah. I had so much dexterity.
But that was what made it worse, is that he wouldn't shut up about the qualities of the gloves. as if the ends justified the means, right?
I found a black pair for the next winter hunt.
Well, then we would have had no issue.
You should have just spray painted them.
No, I still use them, and they're in my work truck right now. Like they're really good gloves. They're
It worked
really
out.
good gloves. We got a lot of ducks.
We did plucking.
Yeah.
So I'm a big plucker. And it's a great way to initiate. That was one way to initiate him into more of the difficult aspects. Because there's so much more you can do with a duck that's plucked, or even a breast that's plucked, than just skinning them.
Tell me those are it.
That's
Those
it.
are it. Those are it.
That's it. You found it.
Don't show that.
Yeah, it's easy to find. They're good gloves, like fully endorsed.
So you pluck your ducks. What's your favorite way to cook them?
Spatchcock is my favorite way.
I don't know what that is.
Spatchcock is a method for any form of bird where you take its backbone out.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cooks evenly.
Yeah,
Yep. So you just
More
take
evenly.
shears, kitchen shears,
Yeah.
or a knife, but shears are the easiest, and you just basically cut all the little like rib bones along the back spine, pull it out, and then lay it breast side up on a flat, hard surface and press down. You'll hear some cracking. It's a little bit aggressive if someone's not used to being around. Because
So
it's
you clip the wings?
oh no, so you basically you just follow both sides of the backbone all the way up. So you just remove.
No, I'm talking about
the spine.
whenever you're plucking.
Oh yeah, pluck the wings.
Well,
pluck the wings?
pluck the wings.
Not all the way out.
Not all the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
out.
not all the way
Because-
out.
First joint.
First joint, cut
Yeah.
those off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we had to say because I learned
And then you
after
leave one
plucking,
wing on.
We had to
We're
leave
going
one
back
wing
to
on because we
Pennsylvania,
were
yeah.
driving. You have to show species when you cross state lines and have your tag and stuff.
Yeah, you have to
That
fly
makes
water.
sense.
No matter where you are in North America, if you're crossing, even if you're not crossing state lines, you have to until it's to your domicile, whatever you say, your house, basically your house.
Yeah, because after the plucking, I did the butchering. They let me do one, and then they gave me the bitch work, for lack of a better term. I had to cut the heads and the feet off, and one wing I was doing.
Yep. So you
Yeah.
head, one wing, and 2 feet.
It was
But-
good. It was nice. Dip my toe in.
Yeah. So basically, spatchcocking, because then the whole thing cooks even. So you can do a whole bird cook, and you could do it on the Breeo. You could do whatever. I also love sous videing them.
Yeah,
So
that's my favorite way.
So I'll take, and this I'll just take breast for. It's hard to get all the air out of because you need to sink in that plastic if it's a whole bird. So I'll take the breast and vacuum seal them or put them in a Ziploc, get all the air out, put them in a sous vide at 120, because you can eat it raw,
Yeah.
rare, whatever you
Yeah.
want, and let it go for 4 or 5 hours so it stays rare, and then pull it out and just sear it like crazy.
Yeah.
The trick with a duck breast is you have the skin on, so there's a fat cap. Think of it almost like a New York strip, where it's like a piece of meat that's got fat on one side. Lay it down in a cast iron pan that's cold, and then turn the heat on. And as that heat is coming up,
The
it's
fat
rendering.
will render.
It's rendering the fat out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay knows what's up.
It's so good.
Interesting. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And we weren't culinary experts. We're just a couple normal dudes that just learn the techniques. Like when I met you guys in TAC, we're cooking all that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, it must be great being a chef, working for this company, cooking all this stuff." I go, "No, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that they hired. I started in the shipping department, and now I'm here in Montana." And we get that all the time, and people don't understand the flavor you're getting cooking over fire. Like in the 70s and 80s when propane was huge, like all the flavor was lost, and that's when seasonings started booming because we lost all that flavor. We're just cooking like our ancestors did for thousands of years. And all these wood-fired kitchens that are popping up too. Everyone's like, "Wow, this is so amazing. These chefs are so good." They are good. They are skilled, but we're returning that flavor back to the food through that live fire.
Was the transition to pizza ovens a natural one for you guys, or?
It was, it's something that, like I was telling you earlier, Sam, when your whole business is cooking over fire, it's
Yeah.
pretty intuitive to think about pizza.
Yeah.
But my background was not pizza. I'm much more used to, like we were just talking
Meat,
about,
potatoes.
proteins. Yeah.
Yep.
So Chris Beamer is our lead engineer at Breeo. He's been there for a number of years, and he is a hardcore pizza guy. And so he couldn't wait to get his hands on that project, and he's the one that walked it all the way through.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. It's stainless steel or Corten, and I haven't even cooked a pizza in it yet. I've been cooking other
Really?
things. I've been putting stuff
What are you cooking it?
I've been doing breakfast sausages, bacons. I heated up muffins in it. I've did cookies on a cookie sheet.
You seen it? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
so pretty.
don't think of it as just a pizza oven. Think of it, it's an oven
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
a door. You just have to rotate the stuff because the heat comes around the back. So the stone gets hot and the air temperature gets even hotter, and you have the ability to control it with a flue on the top. So you can use it like an oven, a rudimentary oven.
And it sits on top of the
Yeah.
Breeo stove.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's seamless. On the 24, it looks like one whole unit.
Yeah, that's what Jay was just showing me. It's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. So if you already own a fire pit, it'll fit on top of your fire pit. If you don't and you buy them all together, it's like a $1,500 unit, but you're getting a fire pit and a pizza oven. It's it's great. Like some of these higher end pizza ovens that we're in the same market with are $1,800, $2,200,
Oh,
and that's all you get.
Yeah.
You just get that.
Yeah.
Like when you're done with the pizza with this, you take it off, and you have a fire pit.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
What your guys' development process looks like when you're coming up with new ideas, like your fire poker that's a weapon, like anything that you guys are developing, what's your process for that?
Well, it's become more formal the last couple years. Back in the day, it was I would walk into Amos's office or he'd walk into mine with a bright idea, and then he would make it happen. Amos's background is metal fabrication for many, many years and combustion. His dad's company made wood stoves and boilers, so he has 20 years of experience both in combustion and welding metal fab. So we would just make stuff, and people would buy it. Now it's like we try to be a little more intentional about kind of the flow, right? So we have like roadmap meetings where we talk about this year, next year, and the year following. We talk in like 3-year blocks, and ideas come from. You're constantly giving me ideas. Ideas come from all inside and outside the company, and then we just see if we can build it and test it, and then we'll test some stuff. And that's probably not
we have a humongous R&D area and a really nice R&D team where they are constantly researching and developing. Like, right, we needed to come out with a heat deflector that went through like 4 versions. We came out with a base that went through 4 or 5 versions, so we found one that protected all the stuff, and more and more. The pizza oven went through a bunch of versions, and all this new stuff that's happening and going to happen, they're testing it all just like a major corporation would. We develop everything, so because there's no V2 with metal, right? Like it's not like you can update your phone with software. If we send out the wrong thing, we'd be up a creek. So we really develop stuff.
It's definitely like everybody at Breeo cares about product, right? So it's like it is the most hotly contested. Like everyone has an opinion. It's awesome. Like if you want to hear spirited debate, right? It's like be a fly on the wall in any department talking about product because we're very passionate about it.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. And this is one of the few companies that I've worked with where everybody under the Breeo umbrella is super passionate about what they do and what we sell and how it's portrayed into the public. Like I said, I started as shipping director. I was just so passionate about it. They made me a sales guy and then the events guy, and now I do business development. Like they've really built a runway for me to succeed. And I believe I know that's because how passionate I am about this product and the company as a whole. Like they talk about company culture and stuff. Like we have it here at Breeo. We're like
you got to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you developed anything then had to kill it?
Yeah, we have. We had a fire pit back in the day called the Econ, which was single wall, wasn't smokeless. It was designed to be sort of like economical.
Economy one?
And it bombed. Like this was like years ago, and we killed that. We've had a variety of things that just don't get the market response that we.
The chicken flipper.
The chicken flipper.
Yep,
we need to bring that back.
Yes, we
chicken
do.
flipper.
Yep, it's in its name. Flips chickens. It's in its name.
Nailed it.
So John,
walk me through this.
Well, John talks about
spring loaded. How do we do this?
Well, John talked about the Ablaze, the first fire pit, and that had a larger diameter, as we know, outpost accessory port, and it had like a crank on the front of a boat trailer.
1,200-pound boat winch.
Yeah, and it was big, and it had a big kettle and all this stuff, and a product that I've never seen, but I've seen photos of is the chicken flipper that attached to that, and that's what it was. A spatchcock chicken would go in there, and it would. You could
it was
flip your
basically
chicken.
2 grill grates that would squish together, and it would flip.
Yeah, chicken flipper.
Chicken flipper.
And in my mind, that came from, there's a lot of chicken barbecues in Lancaster County that the Amish run on Saturdays. And how they do it is they just build a charcoal fire pit out of cinder blocks, and it's 10 feet wide by maybe 5 feet, 10 feet long by 5 feet wide. And they have this big expanded metal grate that flips. That's like a humongous chicken flipper. And people who ask me about the chicken flipper, I know I say it came from that. I don't know where you invented it from. But
Have we developed the marshmallow sticks yet?
it's very difficult to manufacture those in America to get the price point we want.
Okay.
We haven't
Well
come
said.
out with that. We really rely on people to venture out and make your own, right? Find a
Okay.
tree, Boy Scout it up.
I like that.
Get some bamboo ones, right? This
It's a
is
great
your-
activity for the kids.
This is your
Use your Montana
opportunity-
knife, slice yourself.
Yeah, so about. That's your opportunity to get a little more creative around the fire. And then when you're done with it, you break it, burn it, no mess.
Who developed the fire poker?
Ian.
Ian
from the R&D team.
Yeah.
You like the fire poker?
I mean, it's a weapon.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah.
But
hide it
If
from
you
the
hold
kids.
that in your right hand and you hold the lid in your left hand,
You're ready for battle.
you're a gladiator.
Because we were talking about gauge. The lid is over gauged. It'll probably stop at 22. Like it's a solid piece, and you would look like a
It's
gladiator.
funny. You do get quite a few customer reviews where they comment positively about the weapons.
Absolutely.
Killed an intruder the other day.
Yeah, you can smell because it's solid steel. Like it's all there. It's
it's all
literally
304
solid.
stainless,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
all solid.
How many different sizes do you have?
So we have 4 sizes. These would be inside dimensions: 19,
Drew says
24,
5.
30, and 42 of our X series was our flagship
Okay,
line.
okay. He's tangent.
I moved the goalpost so you'd be wrong.
What about the big one? Do you sell that?
The 42?
Yeah. Is that the huge one?
That's a huge one.
Well,
so we have
we have a gargantuan.
No,
one.
that's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
The one.
the platinum.
Yeah,
That is an 8-foot fire pit. So we would all be sitting inside of it right now.
yeah,
And that is mine.
yeah.
There's only one of those.
Well,
And it's mine.
it's gonna be 6,000 miles away from you.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll make a
yeah.
second one, ship it up there.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but our friends, the Bearded Butchers out in Ohio, these guys went out and they spatchcocked a whole cow. Remember John said birds? We did it with a cow. And they cooked this 700-pound cow over
Bringing
that
it
fire
on a
pit.
tractor?
It was a forklift.
No, we
Forklift?
carried it.
Yeah.
Those guys are hardcore.
Yes.
And
So
as professional content creators, they do a great job of making things interesting and on camera. So they wanted us to carry it out rather than just bring it on the forks because it was
So they
obviously
cut the backbone out of this thing, or how
With
they
like a-
flatten
with-
it?
with
so
a
it's
food
actually
grade
split the
chainsaw.
other way.
Yeah.
So it's split this way.
Okay,
so
chest
breast
bone,
open.
breastbone.
Yeah. So
So
backbone's
breast
still in it.
open and just crack them.
So it'd be like invert
Yep.
spatchcock. So we carried it. Basically, it was just the normal carcass. It wasn't cut at all yet. So we were all underneath. I think it was 8 guys with our shoulders on it,
Sure.
and we had to go through 2 doorways, and then from the butcher shop, and then out onto across their parking lot to the back. And it was like, if like one guy trips, that 700 pounds is on us. Like it was a little it was awesome, nerve wracking, but.
Do you get pictures of it on the fire?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's an
hour-long
45-minute
YouTube video. Yeah.
YouTube video. So that fire pit we also took to Field of Fire, which we'll bring again to this year's Field of Fire
Yes.
in October 5th. And we did 3 pigs on it.
Yeah.
We motorized it. We motorized
Yeah,
the
Chris,
Flippy
our
Boy.
senior engineer, designed this cool motor thing, chain, all this heat shield, and we had these pigs going all day.
But the biggest you can buy commercially is the 42, which is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Are your pizza ovens all the same size?
They fit the 24, and then there's an adapter ring for the pizza oven to fit the 30. The 42, we don't have a pizza solution for it. I mean, that's
It would be.
yeah.
You could.
And then the 19, we are.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
See, R&D.
Have you looked into building a very large pizza oven, or is there a need for that? Is that a thing?
Do you mean a standalone, or
standalone?
for our fire pits?
For your fire pits?
For our fire pits, well, we didn't think there would be a need for the 42, and that sold very well in the first week and continues to. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but on the current product roadmap, it's way off out in the middle of nowhere because the size would be huge, the weight would be huge, right? This current pizza oven's 70 some pounds. It's a team lift. So if we built one for the 42 that was any larger, if you first of all, because the 42 is so big, even if we made it 30 inches, you'd be burning yourself putting it on.
Yeah.
We'd have to have some big adapter ring that might not be strong enough. It would need stilts. So currently no, but if someone asks for it, or if enough people ask for it, maybe we can do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a Kickstarter, see if we can crowdsource.
Bring it back.
When you're building a fire, are you log cabin or Lincoln logs, what do we call it? Or are you TP?
This is a very good question.
That is an excellent question.
Yeah.
You've asked the right people. Let me go first. Log cabin is the easiest way to build a good cooking fire. And it's also not a bad way to build a fire for all use. So my recommendation is always log cabin with a twist, which is that fire likes to climb things. right? Which is the beauty of the teepee. It climbs up the. But a log cabin is, first of all, it's easier to build. You don't have to have the balancing act. And it's also more of a better cold distribution. So what you do is you kind of do a combination. You build a log cabin, you put your fire starters at the bottom of the middle, and you put a couple pieces of kindling down the middle, right? So the log cabin, right? You get the opening in the bottom of the cabin, and then the flame can climb up that and get your fire going better. But the biggest key is the wood moisture.
Yes.
Dry wood.
That's the biggest key.
How do you build a fire?
I'm trying to find a photo of it. I
need a
do
photo?
because I need to, it's going to be difficult to explain. I do the honeycomb.
Yes,
honeycomb
he is a
log
honeycomber.
cabin TP hybrid.
I don't know what the honeycomb
Of course.
I know. I need to find a
For
photo.
folks at home, follow my directions.
Yeah,
Very
follow John's directions.
Simple.
Yeah, I go over the top. Okay, I'm a over the top guy. Honeycomb. So think about if you've ever been in Utah, it's the honeycomb state. They have the honeycomb. It's an 8-sided thing.
I didn't know Utah was a honeycomb state.
Yeah. It's the beehive state. And then that's why all their street
Do
signs.
they have lots of beekeepers?
Yeah,
My
they
dad's a
must.
big
Yeah.
beekeeper.
What is that? Aviary? Opiary?
have-
What's beekeeping?
A lot
Doesn't
of
matter.
flowers?
You build a
Apiary.
honeycomb style apiary. It's 8-sided. You build it up, honeycomb style, and then the log cabin in the middle and teepee inside of that.
So I still don't know what honeycomb style is.
Just think of it's 8-sided. So instead
Okay.
of doing
Octagon.
4-4, I'm
Yep.
octagoning up.
It'd be easier to say octagon than
octagon.
than
Yeah,
honeycomb.
well, I just want to use the correct terminology. I hope I am, and I'm trying to find a photo so you better understand.
It's an octagon. It's a
Octagon.
log cabin that's not square.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And then
it's
you put a
round-
teepee in the
it's
middle.
a roundhouse. Here we
The
are.
old dome home.
Here we are. We can pass that around.
I don't know if
That-
the folks at home can see this, but
We're on camera. So do you, like you understand now that it's.
That seems very time consuming.
it is.
I had a lot of time on my hands. I had a lot of
It's an art
time.
project.
I like this setup.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a lot of time to prep, it's easy to build.
It will burn. It will make a raging fire.
Raging Fire
Really?
builds a humongous coal base immediately so I can cook, right? When I'm at events cooking for a lot of people.
Go-to, I think.
Yeah, try it. Yep.
It's definitely a
Honeycomb-
flex.
Honeycomb.
The Drew Bell special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the teepee in the middle.
Yep.
Yep.
And underneath that teepee is another log cabin.
Wow.
It's a hybrid.
So do you build the log cabin in the middle first, teepee, and then honeycomb around?
You go together. So you start the base of the honeycomb, and that's when I start
Start
my
the
log
log
cabin.
cabin.
Because as you saw,
you
the
just build
photo,
everything up as you go.
Yeah, yep. And then the teepees usually last because I can stick those in.
Sure.
Ding, 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 ding. And then one fire starter in the bottom because the wood moisture is we get kiln dried or well seasoned wood, and then one little fire starter, hit it with the torch.
Yeah.
Fire. 20 minutes later, all that stuff is burnt, rolled out to the walls of the fire pit. Perfectly smokeless fire. Amazing to cook over because we have the coal base now to start cooking. So I do that it's a lot of prep time in the beginning, but less time for me to keep feeding it while I'm cooking multiple things.
That makes sense. Do you have a favorite type of wood?
Once again, I'll go.
Okay, great.
You take the first one here.
Oh, well, you said once again, you go. And I go. Well,
I
okay.
changed.
My favorite type of wood is Pennsylvania hardwoods. I like oaks, ash, hickory, all if I can find it. When we go out of state, I have to use the Breeo wood finder to see who's closest to wherever event I'm doing. But if it's in state, in PA, or if I know that it's kiln dry and I can take it outside of the state, I try to find PA hardwoods with the correct moisture content that I like.
What's the percentage that you like?
I like it below 10% if possible.
Do you have a wood calculator? thing?
There's a moisture reader. Boink. You poke it right in. It tells you the
two
moisture. of the
probes,
wood.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get them on Amazon. Yeah.
Explain to us the Breeo wood finder.
It's a page on our website. You type in your zip code. It has people nationwide that our customer service team has vetted that sell either seasoned hardwoods or kiln dried hardwoods. That's our biggest issue selling these fire pits to people. They can't find good wood. So we wanted to have a place for them to find good wood. So our customer service team and our sales team find these wood places when they're out or just by cold calling to see what they have. Like we did an event in Vegas. I typed in Las Vegas, Nevada, where can I, on the Breeo wood finder. I found 2 of them, called one of them. They were open. I drove down there. I use them every time now.
Really?
Yep, they have a
Great idea.
beautiful hickory. They had a mesquite there. They had all this different stuff. And that's why we came out with wood for sale through our website. Same thing. We're selling to a lot of urban people, urban dwellers. They like our smaller Y series for their back patio. they can't find good wood. They go to the gas station. It's out in the rain on a pallet. It's garbage, whatever. So we sell it to them. We'll give it to them.
What's your thought process on a fire starter vise, lighter fluid vise, like a cotton ball?
No,
with
Fluid X, I call it. No Fluid X.
Okay.
Yep.
What about Vaseline and a cotton ball?
No, I wouldn't use anything, all that non-natural stuff. I've been seeing a lot of these pit masters are using like Doritos and Cheetos and stuff. Have you been seeing that?
I've started a fire with a Dorito.
It's all oil. They're selling you oil, and dude, it burns.
Doritos and Fritos.
Yeah, they burn, dude.
That's not. I mean, people put that in their body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They say there's enough preservatives in a bag of Doritos to mummify a cat.
probably. Have you seen the last cheeseburger sold in like Norway or whatever? The last McDonald's cheeseburger.
kept
It's
it.
still
Yeah, I
it's
saw that.
still in a case. And it
People
looks
have
fine.
been for
Looks fine.
years,
Yeah.
like 10 years. The burgers
Yeah, it's
look the
gross.
same.
I saw something recently, and I think it was with Wendy's. I'm not too sure, but it went viral because they made a hamburger and they put it in a glass display box, and they showed all the mold after a couple hours, and they showed the lettuce wilting and the fact that it is more
Natural
of a fresh
ingredients, yeah.
hamburger for a fast food spot that upped their sales tremendously.
Wow,
Wendy's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was Wendy's. Ben.
Good boy,
Ben,
Dave.
research. But fire starters, I'm when I'm at events, I'm a torch guy, just a propane torch. Hit
Love
it
it.
because I spend so much time building such a beautiful fire that hybrid.
Yeah.
I get a lot of kindling in small pieces, so it's easy to just throw that in the bottom of the teepee, hit it once for a second with the torch, and that's all you need. I'm a kindling guy. If you don't have the kindling, I like just natural fire starters, just like lint from the dryer, packed in your egg crate.
Yep.
With,
What if your moisture's high, like you can't get dry wood? What's your go-to then? Just keep the torch it.
That's why I buy the big tank. Yeah, torch it. When that scenario happens, it's not an event because I'd rather be late to an event than show up with bad wood because you're gonna have a bad day. Bad day.
And that's the same whether it's an event or you're having a party in your backyard. Like the quality of the wood will make or break your day.
Yeah.
Because once a fire has momentum, you can throw wood in there it's subpar
Sure.
and it'll
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But getting it to that point, if the wood sucks,
need-
you're fighting it.
That's an issue.
Bad wood. It's the worst.
I saw one of the torches for the first time, I don't know, maybe like 5-7 years ago at my buddy John Hughes' house in Texas. He started his fire pit with it, and gigantic fire pit, gigantic torch. I'm like, man, I need one of those. And he's like, well, it's just an attachment. You can get them on Amazon.
Like a weed burner.
For
Yeah, I
like
have one of
those.
$70
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that, right? And so I go home and I order one, right? And I go home and I'm reading about them, and it was wintertime, and we had ice on our steps.
Cool.
And I go out there, and Katie, my wife, she's like, "Oh, throw some salt down." I'm like, I'm about to torch this thing, and I torch it, and my neighbors, I'm gonna say, lost their mind.
It's loud.
but they all came out. They're like, "What are you doing? Is everything okay?" I'm like, "I'm just melting some ice. Don't worry, I'm a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah.
I'm not."
It's louder than that.
I love a good torch.
Oh, they're,
Yeah.
they're glorious.
My truck got stuck this winter
You-
on my driveway.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
it slid off. I've got a
Yeah.
picture. It slid off.
Did it to the right or to the left? If you're going down,
Going down to the
Probably-
right.
Oh, that's
But I was
the
going
hill.
up. I've got a picture somewhere. I was going so I was going up. So my two left tires are off.
that's sketchy.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought whenever I was going up, I just felt myself going like this.
That's
like,
scary.
I'm like, this truck's gonna go. Like
Yeah.
we're going all the way down.
Well, at least you're home.
But couldn't go anywhere. So I went and got the torch and just torched the entire thing all around my truck. Climbed right out.
Climbing out.
I mean, they need to be in
heard
every
that.
household.
So
I need to start.
Did you
selling
keep it
torches.
away from the tires?
yeah,
I got a little
melt-
too close to
get-
the tires. A couple
That could
times.
be real exciting. That could get real exciting real fast.
We burned a little bit of rubber.
little rubber, and so to speak. So you asked us how we like to ignite fires. How do you guys light cigars? I know there's different ways for that, right? Some guys go torch, some guys wood and match. Like, do you have
I would say torch.
torch?
If it's there, for sure.
And your cutters, you have specific cutters you like, 1/4 inch in, 1/8 inch in, pokey a hole.
I'm not the cigar expert,
Yeah, well,
like Jay is, but I just bite it.
just
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's just like a Churchill, like typically, like in the DR and everything else, they just put like that little cap over.
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
it.
so you can just
bite that little cap off, If it's like a torpedo or something, I cut off something like V-cut it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Because
I used to punch a lot too.
you like to punch.
I haven't done that much.
Yeah, because the term stogie comes from Conestoga, PA. That's where we live. Because the first stop before you hit the Oregon Trail was Conestoga, where you got your Conestoga wagon and your stogies before you hit the trail.
Really?
Yeah, Conestoga, PA.
Where's that at?
It's right down the street from our
South
house.
of the city, Lancaster
Yeah.
City.
The Oregon Trail started in Pennsylvania.
That's where you bought your Conestoga wagon. Was the primary.
I don't remember
Was the
that.
primary unit people bought because it was a shape not like a normal wagon. It had kind of like a belly to it, so you could ford the river and turn it into a boat.
Really?
Yes, the Conestoga wagon was that's Lancaster. Why it's there is for the farming and the manufacturing. It's the oldest inland city in America, so it was the first stop before you went on the Oregon Trail. And you picked up all your last provisions right there, and the last thing you got was your wagon, your stogies, and your oxen, and you head out on the Oregon Trail.
Do you remember the floppy disk game?
I killed
It
so
can-
many
Yes.
buffalo.
Dude,
I
so
died-
many
I
buffalo.
died from
generation. We are the correct generation.
I died
to
from
talk about this.
dysentery every time, and I learned the cheat code was your profession is a doctor, because then you lasted longer. And I always ran out of bullets before I even made it to Mississippi. The whole time I was hunting.
Just killing
Because
shit.
yeah, we'd be in the computer lab. I'd be like,
yeah.
teachers up there, put it in, let's go. Bim, 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 died.
Yeah.
Dysentery, lost a wagon wheel.
Dysentery.
It was always dysentery.
Lost a kid.
So stogies, because Lancaster Leaf is by us, Dutch Masters, all that stuff. We grow a lot of tobacco up there, big cigar, a lot of manufacturing for cigars. Lancaster Leaf still makes like 80% of the outsides rolling
Connecticut
stuff.
wrapper probably.
Yeah,
Probably a lot of
yep.
that.
They make the wrapper, and one of our dealers up there. I do an event up there, and Lancaster Leaf's right there. It smells so good. Like
Yeah.
like it comes in, and the high school or the college I went to, same thing. There was another leafery over there, and it just blew in.
Big barns they dry it out in.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the Amish community grows a lot of tobacco. Philip Morris and different companies for whoever, you know how it goes. But it's all hand planted, hand cut, and hand dried, hand hung in these barns that are specially made. And every like 10th board pops out to let the air flow in and up and out of the barn. It's pretty cool. They dry. It's all by hand.
That second green barn at my house.
Yeah.
That was tobacco.
Oh, really?
If you go in, like they've got all the
Yeah.
things where they put the leaves over, and like the way it's built, like there's like gaps in
In the
void,
side?
in the sides,
Sides, yeah. Just vent
let
it.
air and stuff
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
Will animals eat tobacco leaves?
No, nicotine's a poison. So they don't. It's naturally they use it as an insecticide. So they don't want it. Yeah,
So you don't have to worry about anything you eat in your tobacco.
I'm
leaves.
sure there's something out there that probably does, but no, nicotine's literally a poison. You're poisoning yourself, and so nothing wants to eat the plant. It's right. Caffeine's a drug. We got our vices. They're fine, and everything's good in moderation.
Thanks for making me feel better. I was mentally going to a dark spot.
tobacco around like food plots if it would keep deer out.
I'm not too sure. At least I hunted in Virginia. The farmer would plant tobacco every now and again, and we hated it because the deer didn't eat it. It looked so bright
and
and
it's
beautiful.
huge,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, this is going to be great. But then nothing comes in that field.
It's because it's poison. If you grow
Really hammer that poison part home.
in The Simpsons, they grew it next to tomatoes and tobacco. Remember that episode? They made a tomato tobacco hybrid. It tasted like cigarettes. And we can go off later.
So, big move coming up.
Indeed. Yeah. Week from Monday.
So,
Week from Monday.
Yeah. Here I am.
Yep.
So you're packed up,
Packed up, calm, cool, and collected.
driving.
No, I had more volunteers to drive vehicles than I had vehicles to drive.
I bet.
Really?
There's three different.
Really?
Yeah.
I was the
one
first one
vehicle's
to
up there. There's
volunteer.
two more.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
But I mean,
How long is that? You obviously figured out how long the drive was. How long's the drive?
if you could do it in like 72 hours if you want.
You wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's a 72-hour drive.
so yeah, it'd be 7 days of 10-hour days if you want to do 10 hours.
Yeah.
so why Alaska? How'd you find your spot? Tell me the story.
Yeah. So quick, and then you can
Yeah.
ask more if you want more detail. Basically, so I grew up in Ontario. I grew up in the north. Grew up playing hockey. Grew up hunting moose. Like that. That was and I loved it.
Yeah.
We have two boys. They're 4 and 6, and I had in my, when I was 12 years old, I wrote on a piece of paper that I was like, I will be a brown bear guide in Alaska, and I like filed it away and forgot about it, right? But it's like some of those things sometimes I feel like we're kind of, as people, we're sort of like salmon, where we kind of return sort of to where we respond a little bit. And obviously I'm from Canada, not Alaska, but there's a lot of similarities, obviously. So that's a little bit of background. We were actually, last year we spent a lot of time in Montana. So we've been Janessa and I, my wife and I have been talking about making a move here for the last couple of years.
Sure.
Raise the boys somewhere maybe a little bit more wild, a little bit more freedom, more room. And we had spent about a month and a half in Montana last year in our Sprinter. We have like a Sprinter van, and that's when we did the hunt with Drew. So we're really leaning towards that, actually. We're looking in the Bozeman area, and
Beautiful area.
it is. Everything checked out, but it just didn't feel like it was like a head thing, not a heart thing, if that makes sense. And so we're talking, this is like November. And I asked, it was like the middle of the afternoon, I asked my wife, I was like, so what would you want out of an area or a landscape before we met, like when you were a teenager? Because we've been married for 11 years this summer. And she said right away, coastlines. So she grew up in, when she was 11, they moved to Spain, southern Spain on the Mediterranean. So she grew up around like rugged coastlines. She loves water, loves the ocean. And of course, Montana's far from that, right?
Yeah.
So that was the end of that conversation that night then. Somehow the combination of like, she was sort of gearing up mentally for Montana and the cold.
Yeah.
And then the coastline piece
Yeah.
came together in her mind that night. We were talking, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was leaving for a flight to Canada the next morning at like 5. So I needed to go to bed. But she looked over me and she said, John, why in the world wouldn't we move to Alaska?
Whoa.
And she claims that my jaw dropped, and the first thing I said was I could die there. And then she was like, you mean like when you're old, right? Like, so that started a whole journey. We flew up there. I have friends up there, been up there a bunch. She had never been there. She went in December so she could see it at its worst. And so it's Kenai Peninsula, South Anchorage, beautiful zone. And
South Anchorage?
south
Yeah,
of,
south
so about
of
3
Anchorage.
hours south. Yeah, Kenai Peninsula. And bought a place there in February. We're up there with the kids for a week in February, and then we're moving up July 1st.
Acreage, house already on it.
House
You
on it,
build
35 acres. It's on a lake, the only house on the lake. The rest of that whole area is all state land.
Awesome.
So it's the only place, it's like almost
Is
a
it
half
hard
mile.
to find a house?
So, hot tip. If you're looking to purchase real estate in Alaska, go in December. It's a buyer's market.
Everyone's trying to get the hell out of there.
And no one wants to get in except John and his family.
So yeah, we were very fortunate to find it and get it for what we got it for. In that
Kids
time of year.
excited?
Kids are stoked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the plan? I mean, you said you want to guide brown
That's
bear
12.
hunts?
That's 12 years.
That was 12-year-old John.
Okay.
Current John, no.
You don't want to be a brown bear
No,
guide?
I don't. Not as a profession.
Better
I mean,
question:
obviously-
are you going to get your guiding license?
I would love to, partly because as a resident, I can bring for moose, caribou, blacktail, and black bear. You guys could all come hunt, right? Like over the counter. You don't even need to be with me. For grizzly, Dall sheep, mountain goat, I can have 2 guys a year that are next, or guys or gals next of kin, but I can't like host you, right? For a bear hunt, like a grizzly hunt, for example. So that'd be a reason. But really, it's this is kind of a whole other kind of topic, but it's actually like kind of like slowing down, right? Like the pace of life that we all have, that I've had. There's a cost to kind of running at that pace, and so I'm really excited about that. Kind of having consistent routine. So I'll be working. It's 4 hours different, right? So my work schedule is going to be working 9 to 5 Eastern time, which is 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Alaska time.
That's not.
So it's like early mornings, but
glorious.
whole
The whole
afternoon.
afternoon.
19 hours of daylight in summer.
Is getting a guide license difficult?
I haven't gone too far down the rabbit hole.
So if anybody knows, reach out and give us the tips.
And so we're moving in July. So then I'll be coming back to Breeo on a 1-month cadence over the first week of each month for a couple of days. So
Is there a timeline like, hey, you have to live here for X amount of time before you can become a guide, or before you can get resident?
Residency is very because like I really appreciate this about Alaska Fish and Game. They really manage the resource very intently. Poison. Don't
That's
judge Drew.
one of the healthiest versions of that
Oh,
poison.
great.
I'm
a healthy guy.
I had that one I had yesterday.
Right to your head.
Hit me in 2 seconds.
He put it in.
I put it in, and
He's never asked for one, and I never, offer. And we're having a beer, and he goes, "Let me get one of those." No, quite.
It hits you so
not
hard
like, "Are you
right
sure?"
away.
or anything
Like-
like that. Like, we'll see where the fuck this goes, right?
Yeah,
there's
and
no caution.
And
lipped it right away.
he popped it open, or he popped one in. Takes a couple sips of his beer and takes out and sets it on the top of his beer can.
That's all you need.
And I'm waiting. I'm like,
I was like, whoa.
is he? Because it'll make you sick.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
These are 6s.
Yeah.
None of that low T3
It's like
shit. You
Sandlot
know what I mean?
on the tilt-a-whirl. You throw
Yeah.
up.
The first time I did it, I think it was like Red Man or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
chew
throw a
it.
piece of spearmint in there?
Yeah, wrapped it
Yep.
in gum. If we were playing baseball, I was young.
Yeah,
and
that-
on the way home and puked everywhere.
Yeah, because you're also probably swallowing it because you didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. Ugh.
But you would think, like, I mean, I smoke quite a bit of cigars. You would think like nicotine, like,
have a
wouldn't
tolerance.
Wouldn't, yeah. But that, I mean, just
Yeah, that's like
it's like, whoa.
the crack cocaine of nicotine right there.
Well, I
Yeah.
dipped for about 18 years.
Oh.
So I dipped I started with Kodiak, the only bear you can pinch. And not sponsored or anything. I just liked it.
We are
Loved
now.
it for a
We
long
are
time.
now.
And then I went to Copenhagen and
That's the real stuff.
Yeah, long cut.
and dipped
Yeah.
that for a long time.
They
Then
said like fiberglass and that stuff.
No, that's
Oh,
Newport cigarettes. I thought.
the overseas it would come in a plastic can by the cardboard,
Yeah.
and they called it formaldehyde because they said
It was
there
all
was
formaldehyde.
formaldehyde in it. I'm
the
no
Swedes
chemist.
have
I
been
don't
doing
know.
this
It's
forever.
just-
The
it
snuffs
tastes-
and
it
all
tasted
that stuff.
right.
That's where
But,
it all comes from.
And then I quit a couple times. Every time I quit, I started smoking.
That's even worse.
And so that didn't count. And then I went on deployment, and this is, I don't know, a handful of years ago, maybe 2021, 22, somewhere right there. And I didn't bring any.
Cold
Cold
turkey.
turkey?
I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going cold turkey.
Did
I
you?
didn't.
I'm sure there was a lot of. I'm sure everyone else had it.
I mean, I was in, nope.
oh really?
It's hard to find in South America.
Okay.
And there was other guys.
There's other stuff in South America.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. in South America.
I mean, I was ripping heaters to get me through, but
That doesn't count.
no. But I came home and I still wasn't, I haven't dipped since.
Good for you.
And
That is dip.
I found these things. No, this is
What do you mean?
this is a healthy alternative.
Yeah.
Saying-
It's
It's
literally
nicotine.
just nicotine.
Yeah.
It's just like powdered nicotine in pouches. There's no plant matter. It's just the poison.
Canada does the same thing, but I just got back from Australia and
With
bought some cigars over there, and they put them in pouches with like
Nasty stuff on it.
cancer
Yeah.
and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
They're trying to scare you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's poison.
Yeah. And it's
That
proven.
point has been well established.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, it's fine.
So this is
They're trying to ban vapes over there too.
I heard Jules just got unbanned for America.
Ban, unban.
Yeah. The 29th Amendment or something.
Vape is that is real poison.
Yeah.
Literally,
Those
because
things.
they're unregulated, where they're made, all this stuff. You don't even know what that coil is. It's put in the nickel. A lot of bad. You can't be smoking that. It needs to be like titanium or stainless. And these guys are making all this stuff out of willy nilly whatever metal, and it makes your lungs fill with liquid. It's bad.
Yeah.
Like you
Bad
drown
stuff
yourself. Yeah. Don't vape.
so back to what Alaska Fish and Wildlife were doing.
So
Oh yeah.
they're protecting the resource.
Hot tangent right there.
The beauty of Alaska is that we didn't get to it at scale as a civilization until we were smart. We'd learned enough hard lessons, like killing all the buffalo, that we're like, hey, this is actually a resource we want to protect. So by the time it started to have, I'm good,
Thanks, Ben.
a decent population, we as a nation had wised up to the fact that we want to protect these natural places. So the Alaska Fish and Game is very aware of the resource they have, which is incredible, that we all want to partake in. And they're awesome about letting us partake in it, both as residents and non-residents. But they are very aware of the value, and so they protect it very, very well. So residency in Alaska is a big deal. Like if it's not something you want to mess around with. It's 12 months, and you basically you have to maintain a home, have residency there for 12 months, and have no plans. Like you have to be basically the way you live your life has to look like an Alaskan resident. So you can't just like have like a business up there, or like you
Gotcha.
got to be like
Yep.
there, right? But then if you're a resident, $45 license, you get your shit
Yeah.
tag every year.
As a resident,
No
do you need
kidding.
a guide to go grizzly hunting?
No.
So you can just go off on your
Doll
own?
sheep, grizzly,
Yeah.
once
but
a
you
year.
can't bring us.
Comes
so-
with your $45 license.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to convince John to start his own little outfitter. I'm trying to get other brands, barter system. If anyone wants to barter, we need 13 pairs of shoes, 13 waders, 13 bows and arrows. We need all the stuff. So when he becomes a guide, we can all just fly up and everything's
All the
there.
stuff's there.
So we don't have to bring it. It'll just the logistics wise, it's easier for us to fly with the carry on than me bring all my guns and stuff.
That is the biggest thing about hunting Alaska. Like I did a self-supported caribou trip in 21, and it's like it's not that hard to hunt Alaska. The hard part is like you need a truck, you need like some sort of watercraft, and so like I ran a truck in Fairbanks. I rented pack rafts. We hiked in, killed 4 bulls, and then we floated out. But it's the logistics of having stuff there.
Yeah.
Like, all you need is a buddy.
Yeah. So we got
and then
a buddy
I grew
now.
up. My grandfather, and my mom were both pilots. I grew up around a lot of aviation, bush pilots in Canada. So like I'm not gonna rush into that. My friend up there is a full-time flight instructor and airplane mechanic. So I would like to get into that, but I want to. There's
Settle in
There's
first.
some risks associated with flying.
A lot of risk.
Yeah.
We'll walk into that.
Would you get the
wife
float
can't
plane?
be- your
Would you
wife-
get one with the big tires? that,
Yeah,
you know,
so
you can
I grew up
land on
around
anything?
all float planes. In Ontario, if you're flying bush, there's no gravel strips. It's spruce trees and lakes, right? So you're flying floats. In Alaska, a lot of guys are running those big bush wheels, like 35-inch bush wheels.
Yeah, with
They're
like-
like 2 psi, so you
Yeah.
can just like go over top of rocks or whatever. Yep. Because you can fly faster, there's less maintenance than floats, and you can still land a lot of places. So our property, the lake, is like 20-acre lake, so it's like it's tight. You could probably get a cub out of there, but on floats, because it takes more. Obviously, there's more friction on the water. And then in the winter, everyone runs skis, so everyone's running skis in the winter. So skis in the winter and either tundra tires, bush wheels, or floats in summer.
I'm going on a bear moose hunt in the top of Manitoba in October.
Nice.
Is that going to be your first time in Canada?
Hunting.
Okay,
Yeah.
hunting.
I played in Toronto one year, and then I was in Toronto again for something.
Hockey?
Wait, what?
He played football.
Oh, you played football.
And then I was in Toronto again. I've been to Toronto a couple times.
I'm going to Canada next week for the first time.
You've
What are
never
you
been
doing?
to Canada?
Never been to Canada.
Gonna go play hockey?
It's Canada Day.
He wants to go to the Senators Stadium empty.
Empty.
The rink. He just
It's
wants to
empty.
go.
Why?
And
Because hockey's big.
but
Hockey's big
it's-
up there,
I
right?
don't understand.
Just want to see it. Where
Didn't
it
your
happens.
girlfriend say like, "Why are we doing this?" And I'm with her. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why are you going?"
Well,
to-"
because I just want to see it. I want to go to Canadian Tire. I want to see the stadium. I want to get some Timmy Ho-Hos. And I want
No
to
one-
get
no one calls it
some
that.
chips and gravy.
No one calls
That's
it to me.
Chips and gravy.
Poutine.
I've never had that.
It's just gravy over top of like anything, chicken.
Yeah.
Like they have all kinds of.
Do you
different-
dip your chips in the gravy, or do
No,
you pour the
it's,
gravy on your
chips
chips?
as in French fries.
Yeah.
We would call them
Oh,
French
okay.
fries.
And
They're
cheese-
French up
cheese
there,
curds.
so it's not
Missed
French. It's
that.
just fries. For
I
them.
forgot.
Yeah.
So your hunt, you got a hunt coming up. You said.
Yeah. Top of Manitoba. Like how top?
Manitoba. I don't know if I'm gonna drive because I mean, it's moose, black bear. It's basically anything you want, I think. But I want
walks
to
in
bring,
front.
Pick of the litter.
but I want to bring all the moose meat back.
Absolutely, dude. That stuff.
It's good.
I've I've
unreal.
had it a couple
Any
times.
border issues with getting?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have your tag declared. I've taken
Yeah.
meat both ways. 100 times.
I've got a big enclosed motorcycle trailer.
Yeah.
Like two motorcycles fit in it. So I'm thinking that it's what is it? I think it's a 24-hour drive, maybe longer than that. I don't know.
From here,
Yeah, 48 hours maybe.
you're more than 24.
Yeah. It's 26 to Montana,
What month?
October.
It'll be cold enough up there, but once you start,
You're saying getting it back.
Yeah. The plan is to put a big chest freezer back there.
Yeah.
With a generator.
Yeah.
And dry ice. Shitload of dry ice
Yep,
just in
and
case.
just put it in there and keep it going on the way back.
Because the Josh who you had on your podcast a couple episodes ago, him and the Bearded Butchers went out and they hunted. They had a difficult time getting the meat back. The logistics of the meat was the most difficult part.
Where'd they go?
They were elk hunting. I think.
They were elk hunting, and probably in Montana or something. I think they ended up reaching out to their viewers, and somebody who was going cross country brought it back in their van. They tried to ship it, all this stuff. No one wanted to touch it because it was perishable.
Yep.
All that. They packed it with dry ice and huge Yetis. And in the final hour, someone showed up in a Sprinter van who was going cross country and dropped it off for them.
What's the trick
I've-
for the
I've
dry
lost-
ice?
That's a
meat?
good. Well, finding it.
Finding it.
Finding it. It used to be way more available.
Yeah, when
a
local
lot of
butcher
small
shops had it.
towns had
Yeah.
dry ice. It's so hard to find now. That because if you can find reliable dry ice, you wouldn't need to bring that chest freezer. Just get a giant.
Regular.
Like I have a Yeti that I do cold plunges in.
Yep.
It's like a
The
big boy.
big boy,
Yeah.
Yep.
And just throw that. You could skip the trailer and throw it in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
Because a moose. So that's. You should know Alberta. That would be Canadian moose. So you have 3 subspecies of moose. You have the Shiras moose you have in Montana. Then you have Canadian moose, and you have Alaskan Yukon. And they get bigger as you go up.
Okay. So what is up there?
You're in the middle. You're in the Canadian moose. Alberta would be Canadian moose. But they're still real big, right?
Yeah.
So like you're going to get, if the meat's boned out, because the border doesn't care. As long as it's well labeled, you got your tag, you can bring it through in any form that it's in. It doesn't have to stay on the bone or anything. So if you bone it out, you'll have 400 pounds of meat, 450, 500 pounds of meat, depending on the size of the bull. So it's not like you can fit that in a big Yeti or two.
Yeah.
No generator, ice. The problem is
Reliable source of
finding dry ice.
cold stuff.
If the temperature, when in October is it?
Late.
Late. With your route, I mean, you could easily get to your place in Montana with just normal ice.
Yeah.
That time of year,
Yeah.
easily. And then you could go from there with logistics.
Yeah, that's
What's
gonna
the
be
trick
fun.
with the dry ice and the meat? Do you lay a towel down on top and put the dry ice up top? Can you close a cooler all the way? Is there any gas?
If you got a good Yeti, I would probably have something pop so you can let some of that pressure out.
I just cracked the drain.
Yeah,
Crack the drain
A drain in the back of the truck.
because it's a gas that they expand and contract till it turns into a solid, and now it's turning back to a gas, so it creates pressure. Like
How long will dry ice stay in a Yeti?
for a pretty long time.
You might only need one set.
Yeah, if you leave that cooler outside and so Yeti claims like that 14 days of ice, if you read the little asterisk, it's if the cooler is pre-cooled.
Yeah.
So putting ice into a warm cooler really lowers that number. So if it's middle of October and that Yeti is pre-cold, one good hunk of dry ice was sitting there for quite some
Your
time.
outfitter can probably source the dry ice for you. And if you start with a cold cooler, dry ice in the bottom with a little bit of separation, crack
and your
it,
meat's frozen already from being outside.
you're going to be, you don't need that chest freezer.
yeah.
But anyways, I'm glad you bring it back.
What do
That's
you
awesome.
put in between the dry ice and the meat? A towel?
The meat's usually probably packed in plastic. You don't really need anything. It's not going to get any more frozen or freezer burn or anything, but it will burn your hands that are warm blood. You can't touch dry ice.
You can with those blue gloves.
I'm gonna get
Those
some
blue gloves.
Dude,
You can touch almost anything with those.
Back to the blue gloves. Don't take
cool.
blue gloves in your hunt.
Yeah, don't take blue
I
gloves.
saw
They're
my
already in my Amazon account.
They're
My
cheap.
chart right now.
I saw my first moose last week in Montana.
Oh, wow.
I was in-
Wow.
I went up to Kalispell and then down to Bozeman, then up to Big Sky.
And how
About 8
close
days.
were you to this?
The
moose?
first one was a very large cow, and she was probably 200 yards away. Watched her just grazing, and then she bedded down. And then the next one, we were driving into Big Sky. You know that into the TAC event.
Oh yeah.
You know that big lake that's right there?
Yeah.
There's a couple trees around the lake, and Christina, she goes, I think I saw something bed down in there. We reverse back and don't see anything. Go up to the our cabin, eat dinner or whatever. Then we go back out because the folks I was with, Kyle and Christina, they have never been out west. So we just drove
cool.
around in the
What an
evenings and
experience.
looking
Yeah.
for game. It was the funnest thing in the world. We're coming back. We're going out again now. It's about 8 p.m. and I see its legs. And we flip around, and we're from here to Bend, maybe a little bit further from calf, and the cow was running around.
And that's like the most dangerous situation.
We stayed
with
in the
moose,
vehicle.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're mean. They'll charge you.
yeah, but never seen one. It's huge.
Yeah, when you're that close, you realize like
They're cool.
it's bigger than a car. Like
The Yukon moose, how tall is the top of its back?
I want to say at the shoulders. I mean, it's definitely taller than I am. I want to say 7 feet at the hump. That's
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up.
do they
That's my
measure that
guess.
in hands, right? Like a horse?
They do not measure it in hands. Do that in good old feet. That's a 17-hand moose.
Yeah. I don't even know what a
We're in
hand
horse country
is.
right now.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I don't know, what the hell is a hand?
Topically relevant right here.
So, what big hunts do you have planned?
So I'm just easing in.
Yours gonna be in Alaska. Hunter.
I'm
for a
easing in.
year.
I'm easing in, doing my caribou trip this year again. Although I have a find I'm very excited about that I will not shut up about. I've been looking for one of these forever. It's a 2-stroke, 25-horse jet outboard. So so they stopped making 2 strokes 20 years ago. You have to be
Yeah.
4 strokes.
4 strokes.
Problem with 4 strokes is weight, right? So the smallest motor you can put a jet on is 25. So a brand new 25 Merc is going to be like 200 pounds. Too big for one guy to kind of like mess around with, throw on and off a boat.
Yep.
But the 2 strokes have just as much power and are 120 pounds. I found one on Facebook Marketplace in 2005. It was 4 hours away. It was like 2 weeks ago. Western Maryland. and I went straight there, perfect condition. He had a guy from Wisconsin trying to fly in to get it. Yeah. So I got that and then an 18-foot inflatable that I bought from a guy in Alaska. That I'll do with my caribou hunt. So last time I hiked in with a 92-pound pack and like blew up my knees basically, and then floated out, and it was very difficult. This time I'm going to try to
walked in with a 90-pound
yeah,
pack.
because I took my dad and my buddy's dad, and they're both in their 60s. So we
all their
like,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, they did great. They carried stuff too.
Sure.
They're listening. You guys did a great job. But the young guys did carry more weight. So this year I'm going to go in with that. So caribou hunt, and then I'll probably hunt moose around the house. I have my trail cams on the driveway, just moose
Really?
on the driveway.
Yeah.
When you were floating out, did you have a separate pack for or raft for your gear and your meat?
Nope. So I was sitting in bloody water. So basically, we hiked in with alpaca pack rafts. They pack down to about this big.
Yeah.
And then you inflate them, and they can hold 500 pounds. So they're in the backpack. You hike, and you got your little kayak paddle.
Sure.
Went back in, and it was 4 guys. We killed 4 bulls, butchered them all up, and over a week. And then we floated out. And this is a glacier-fed stream. So the problem wasn't like when I had all the meat. So everyone had their meat basically in the bottom because you want the center of weight as low as possible. And then you're sitting on top. I didn't take on any water until we started hitting some rapids. And then because you're so low.
Yeah.
So then it's like I'm just like sloshing around in like icy, bloody water for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was probably the worst part of the trip.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just means the end, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And caribou is also awesome. As long as you don't get caribou in the rut is like inedible. You can't eat it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Basically, it gets so rank. It's great before, but if it's after
All that testosterone.
October 1st, I think you don't want to kill a bull caribou. They just get so rutted up.
Have you seen?
I really don't like deer meat in the rut either.
Yeah.
The big old, like 5-6-year-old.
I mean, you can taste the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's edible, but you can.
No, it's edible for sure.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Have you seen? I think they did this on Meteor. He killed a caribou, took out the eye. Have you done that?
I didn't do that. I wish I would have. No, we ate it every other which way. The one thing I learned before that trip that I did was I took the caul fat.
Yeah.
We'll go back. Caul fat's on the
Yeah.
intestines,
Oh,
right?
so
and then
Steve's done that a lot.
and then I wrapped a roast, did the whole thing.
you did that?
Oh
Was
yeah,
it good?
it was awesome. Yeah,
Really?
it's a little like it's like you can tell you're eating wild game, but it's
Okay.
like really rich, very rich.
Gotcha.
I wanted the eyeball thing. So
What
yeah,
did he do with the eye?
Yeah,
I
what's the
haven't seen
eyeball
this.
thing?
Take the
Eyeball
eyeball
thing.
out, and there's fat behind I believe it's fat behind the eye, right? And the guy from Meteor, Steve Vernella,
Yeah, good
he
guy.
took that off and ate it raw, and he said it tastes like dough.
The fat?
The fat on his
raw
eye.
fat. I'm gonna do it this year, and I'll text you.
I would love to do that.
Is it
Yeah.
only with a caribou, or is it with? I mean, can you?
I've
do it with
only
an
seen it
elk?
with a caribou. I'm
I've
not
only
too sure.
ever heard it with caribou. The native First Nation people did it, so
gotcha.
that's where it
Yeah,
came from.
probably because caribou probably have a load of fat to stay warm, right? What do you think they have more fat than other animals that you're hunting?
I've
never butchered
I
one.
wouldn't think so.
Normal
I mean, probably in
amount
the
of
winter they have a fat, but I mean, I would think an elk has just as much fat.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking because if they're having fat on their eyes and no one else is
Well,
eating
I think-
eye fat,
yeah, I don't know.
or
Yeah.
muscle, it might be is muscle or fat.
They
I'm
travel
not an
so
eye fat
much. I bet
expert,
they're
so-
pretty damn lean.
Yeah.
They travel so much. I bet they're pretty lean.
Then they're so random. Like
Yeah.
people think of a caribou migration as being like this.
Like a
it's like,
herd.
all right, guys.
Yeah.
It's like Ice Age, like we're the
Uh-huh.
cartoon, right? Not at all. They'll run like 50 miles this way, then they'll go 50 miles north, then they'll go 25 miles east, then they'll go like
they don't even know what they're going.
Random, dude. You watch a group of
Really?
caribou, they'll just be like eating, acting like there's nothing going on, and all of a sudden they'll just take off in a line,
One will go, and the rest are just going.
and they're just going, and there's no wolves around. They're hilarious. Yeah.
Predators. Have you looked into any predator hunting up there?
Well, I have a coyote issue on the property. There's not very many coyotes in Alaska because wolves and coyotes, when their ranges overlap, like canines don't like each other.
Yeah.
Right? So like coyotes will kill foxes, wolves will kill coyotes, and they'll all try to kill dogs. And so when Alaska has obviously a very large wolf population, so there was never coyotes there before, but they've been kind of trickling in. So the Kenai Peninsula has some, and I'm just getting them on my trail cams a lot. So that'll be something starting point. But
Do you trap?
I don't. My dad did.
You're gonna get into the trap line game.
That's
up there?
another one where it's like,
I love trapping.
text me in a year,
Yeah.
right? I
I'm
want
sure you'll
to
have
ease in.
You'll have a line here this winter.
I don't know if I've told you about this.
have.
The trapping.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
You
tell
haven't
them.
told me.
Tell us. Tell us. Yeah.
I'll tell everybody again. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. I was in Texas talking to a gentleman, and he's got his taxidermy back from a trip he went on up in Canada, and it's a trapping trip. So you fly in and you stay at
That's
the
cool.
trapping
Really cool.
cabin, and you go out and you could set your traps. You can go as in depth as you want, or you could just run the trap line and take this, take your whatever animals that you caught out. But he helped set them, helped bait them every morning, and he said it's a perfect off-season boys trip, because there's no guns involved, so you can just booze
Hanging
it
out,
up and
waiting-
hang out,
waiting for them to
and
trap.
wait. He caught
Trapped.
Sorry. Well, I mean, you catch things in the trap.
Yeah, he said it right.
Yeah.
I feel like this is catching. Like I caught
can
the
catch with
football.
Okay.
a
He
point.
caught in the traps
Yeah. That's good.
a wolf, a marten,
A wolf. Dang.
a marten. What are those? A fisher, and
Wolverine.
I think he did catch a wolverine.
Wow.
He got like 5 animals up there, and he
That's
spent a
cool.
week up there, and that's,
That's really
something I would love to.
And then
do.
he got the hides tanned.
correct,
All
and
that. Save the pelts. All
yep,
that stuff.
and
It's
he
cool.
got him everything full body mounted.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
In his office, it was so cool.
Yeah, because that's the only way you'd experience that. Like those all those animals,
Yeah, you never
can't
see them,
even
right? They're
really hunt.
nocturnal
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get a chance.
I would. That's something I would really like to do.
That's a cool.
That,
Like-
would,
like you
that
said-
would be fun. When is that though?
I don't know. I'll get a hold of him and ask him because I would love to do it in I don't know,
think-
February, March. I don't know.
Well, it's got to
when
be in the
season is.
winter.
Yeah.
Because I know Luke traps, but the season's out February or something like that. I don't know. Made that month up. Could be March.
And those little martins, I think caught some martins
Yeah.
too. So yeah, it looked like a hell of a trip.
And like you said, that
You
that
got to
just
go.
be fun.
It sounds like it's a dream.
Yeah.
You run
gotta
the trap
Sam.
lines,
Yeah,
go
I know.
hang
It's-
out.
Make it happen.
I'm going to now.
Then you can tell us about your trapping experience.
Is Breeo? Are they worried about you being gone?
Everyone's been
Is-
super. So Breeo knows
Can't
me.
wait for him to leave.
Oh, see you later, buddy. check back
Shit,
in.
John, I'll drive your vehicle out there for you.
There's been a lot of excitement.
Boss is gone.
A lot of excitement. No, it's Breeo's used to my shenanigans. Like Janessa and I, we lived in a camper full time for 3 years when starting Breeo. Didn't have a house, completely homeless. 17-foot camper from built in the 90s, and we had a mishap the first year and rolled it, and it leaked the rest of the time. So we're dirtbags at heart, and so me doing things like. This is probably not that surprising for folks that have been around for a while. I really like remote work when it's like when I'm working remote, I can think really well, execute, and then coming in for like brief, very intense periods of like you're like meeting together and you're kind of really, and then you have that pull back. So.
It's the digital age, right?
Sure.
Like we're only transcending time zones here. Like you said, he's going to work from 5 to 1. Like 80% of our meetings are Zoom or we're down flying in, all this stuff. Just like you guys zoom in for these when you're out of town, and so it's not going to.
Plus,
be,
think about how much content I can create with 19 hours of daylight.
No shit.
yeah.
Sunset's 4 hours.
But then the latter half of the year,
I still get 6 hours.
6 hours of daylight.
Oh, that's the in the winter.
Yeah, so
That's not bad.
No, it's not terrible. Like
No.
we were there in December, and the thing is
gray.
too, because the
It's
sun
gray.
comes up on an angle, you have like an hour of dusk, so you really have almost 8.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
You take it.
What is the timeline for the daylight? Like, does the sun come up at 10 in the morning?
Yeah, so
You know?
the shortest day of the year is like December 20th, and it's 10 to 4,
Okay.
6 hours. But like I said, 9 to 5, kind of.
Not so awful.
No.
And that's what, like, it will be a bummer to like work. I'll be basically waking up at 5 and working for 6 hours until it's daylight, whatever that is. But then the nice thing is because I get off at 1, I'll still have some daylight to go ice fishing in.
Sure.
Is there any trade secrets for living in the dark for that long? that you-
Yes.
Lumens.
What are they?
So vitamin D supplements,
Yeah.
a vacation in the middle of the winter, and then they're called happy lamps. There's like a lamp that
Yeah.
that replicates the sun's light,
Really?
and just have it on
Yeah,
your desk
my
and
mom
just turn
sits in
that
front of
thing
one.
on. Yep.
My mom has one right here on her desk for the winter time.
And then
Really?
It just gives you the vitamin D you need. It's UV.
Happy lights.
Happy lamps.
happy lamps.
Happy lamps.
Happy lamps. And then just like good mental health tips,
Yeah.
which is get outside, get active, and connect with friends and family, which is what you can do around a Breeo, which is what Breeo exists to do. Our purpose is real growth, real connections, getting everyone around a fire. Plug.
Plugged.
I love it. And it's plugged for us too. Get outside.
Yep.
Yeah, get outside,
Yeah.
guys.
Click the link below.
Get outside. But it's true because like all of us, we're scrolling. We got all these pressures. The pace is so fast, and it's easy to get in these like mental loops, right? And it's just like get outside, get with friends and family, get active, and all of a sudden your problems are gone. Like, oh,
Yeah.
there's a bright big world out there.
Like,
So this house, I mean, do you have TV, internet? I mean, are we going
Starlink, baby.
Starlink.
Yep.
I love my Starlink.
and that was the first question. Off grid homesteading.
Yep.
It's a
We're
it's a
on the
it's a-
road system.
They're on the grid. There's
You can drive
Got
to my
water.
house.
It's not in the
Yep.
middle of nowhere.
Got it.
It's in Alaska, but there's amenities.
Yeah. How far away is the closest grocery store from you?
By dog sled or by... No, I mean, I have a Home Depot in 25 minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I'm
You're
civilized.
Yeah, civilization. Don't think like
great. There's a great community, lots of churches, lots of families. People have a lot of kids, I've noticed in Alaska. And so
There's
I'm
not,
like,
not too much else to do.
well, there is this long winter.
Dark for a long time.
Yeah, they're all born in
A lot of
September.
children.
They're all born in September. You need them to split wood.
and you need no. It's actually practical. You need to split wood, and your salmon quota goes up by number of kids. And Alaska pays you to live there. Everyone gets a check in October. It's like
Wait,
a
what?
grand or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the oil money, dividends.
Yeah.
and so there's incentives
Pipeline.
to have large, happy families.
Yeah,
Yeah, welcome to Alaska.
more the merrier.
Are you a big fisherman?
I grew up like fishing in Ontario, so it was like walleye, pike, right?
Yep.
Smallmouth,
Ice
perch.
fishing?
Ice fishing, yeah. So now
Ice fishing
it's
so
like
stupid.
You're just sitting there.
it's just cheap. Dude,
I love
It's
it.
just another chance. You just drink, right? That's what it is. You just drink it.
He's real good at it.
paid professional.
And like hide from your family.
Exactly.
But the real cool thing, like if you guys ever come in the winter, you should come in the winter, right? Because it's like obviously summer's awesome, fall's awesome, come in those times. But come in the winter too, because we can snow machine, right? We can ice fish when it's dark, but then the ocean never freezes. We go out in my boat, we control for salmon, we can pull crab pots, and the crabs are
Get
like
those
king
blue
crabs, or
gloves.
tanner crabs, which are basically king crabs. You'd have those gloves, you
Yeah.
would be dialed with those gloves. If you bring those gloves in the boat, that's the proper
Yep.
place for those
Well,
gloves.
it looks like
They can be
Not a
as
duck
blue
line?
as you want.
Not a duck line.
it looks
Not a
like
duck
we're going to
blind.
add 13 of those to the outfitter list. We'll get those on there.
Yeah, so I will be fishing it. What's awesome about fishing, my boys are 4 and 6, is that it's just so easy to include them.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I said, I call them holistic outdoor experiences. To me, what that is in the same day, the same like morning to night, you go out into the wild, you procure something, you prepare it, and you eat it with the same people you did that with. And there's something about that is just like baked into our DNA.
Yeah.
It's just a good time. I don't care if you're
primal.
foraging for lettuce in Central Park. Not lettuce. What's the
Asparagus?
Whatever.
Dandelions.
Herbs. Or you're catching salmon, or you're getting a moose. It's like that process of like going out, getting it, preparing it, eating it is just good vibes.
I think people base books and videos and what's that? Catch, clean, cook. Like that's like a term I've heard a lot.
Yeah,
now.
catching. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good time,
I get
and
it.
it's more accessible than I think. That's how I like growing up. We were very poor, and like for us, like we would like if a deer got hit in the road and it was like fresh, like that was like a treasure.
Yeah, Himalayan deer. Himalayan on the road. It's in no species. Yeah.
Himalayan.
Yeah.
Reindeer.
Correct.
In Central Illinois, where my brother lives, the sheriff has a phone list, and you get on the list. So when someone calls in, like, "Hey, I just hit a deer off interstate, whatever,"
Yeah.
and you're next up on the list, they call you, and you can go get it.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
In Alaska, the same thing. Where
special tag for it or something. Yeah.
so a lot of units will have a 50-inch minimum for a bull moose.
Yeah.
And so if you kill a sub 50-inch bull, and like if that ever happens, somebody like report it, just or salvage all the meat, report it, and that you'll get a lighter, like because it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
But you'll just depending on what happens, it could be you'll definitely not hunt the next year, but it's not like you're gonna get thrown in jail. Like if you as opposed to trying to hide
Slap
it.
on the
But
wrist.
what's cool is like Alaska has this whole system for that meat. Like people are like want it,
Oh, sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's like a lot of families have moose meat every year because of either highway accidents or
Someone
Or-
killed the wrong bull.
kill the wrong bull.
So 49 and a half, you're done.
Done. Some units, so it's either 50 inches or more, or some units are 3 brow tines or 4 brow tines.
Yeah.
Most are, and so
Okay.
most like if I'm hunting this fall, let's say there's a moose across the lake at our place. If I don't see, so our unit is a 3 brow tine unit. I don't care how big he looks. If he doesn't have 3 brow tines, I'm not shooting. Not until I'm a lot more experienced, because I don't want to be trying to measure.
I mean, that's got to be pretty difficult.
No, I mean what most guys will say is like unless he's 60 plus, you're counting points.
Okay.
But if he's 60 plus, because he's 10 inches across his head. So you can basically say, okay, is he double on both sides? That's 50. So 20, 10, 10. If he's quite a bit more than that, then he's probably good. But counting points is the way to do it.
Can you call moose?
Can I call moose?
Yeah.
Jake can call moose.
Here we go. Do you use birch?
I've used what Dad.
Is that what they use, right?
They do. Dad just uses like well, he taught me how to call using just like they're like pipes. They're like
Traffic cones.
no, those do work though. It's just like they're like flexible. I don't know. They're plastic and
It's like
flexible. I don't know
drain
what.
hose.
Yeah,
I don't
like a
know.
drain hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a drain hose. Yeah,
Like
a
charades.
2-inch drain hose.
Glad we're videoing so people knew what you were.
Yeah, charades. Picture, if I could draw a picture.
So what
But,
else?
I mean, moose will come in to chopping wood.
Yeah.
Really?
When my mom and dad were on their honeymoon, they had a bull moose chase them. Before dad was experienced with moose, he had a bull moose chase him out of camp at night because he called from camp, which is like a no-no because they'll come right to it and they'll come mad. There was a bull across the lake that had been calling, and he had called earlier, and it was dark, and they heard thrash across the lake, and then all of a sudden went quiet.
Because you got on
they're
the
like-
shore.
Either he's gone or he's swimming,
Yeah.
and they hear
He's coming.
him breathing, and they could just see him coming right across the lake, straight at the campsite. So they jumped in a canoe, and Dad said, "We're going to wait until he breaks. Like when he hits the land, he'll be knocking water, making noise, and we'll just paddle as fast as we can. And as soon as he stops to listen, we'll just coast." So they were in the canoe. He busted on shore. They shot out, and then as soon as he stopped to figure out where this guy he's going to fight, this other bull moose, he thinks. They just held still and just coasted out in the lake, and he's standing there right in the campfire smoke, just looking
Really?
for movement because they just see red.
Yeah.
They just see red.
Yeah, they're aggressive.
So like calling moose, I mean, there's definitely obviously a lot of technique, but if they're that time of year, they're looking.
I saw a video my grandpa showed me when I was a kid. He went up to Canada on a fishing trip, and they caught a moose swimming across the lake, and the locals went out there and in their canoes, but the canoes had motors on them, and just drove circles around him, and all the waves went in his face until he drowned.
Whoa.
Is that a form of hunting or poaching?
I was not there. I was not involved. I was like 5, so
Who did this?
my grandpa
The locals.
videotaped it.
Yeah, it can't be legal.
You were five.
Sounds like simpler
Is that
times.
like a real, yeah.
Living pretty free
was
in
living
'89. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. So what's next for Breeo? What do you guys have coming out? Any new products? I know you have the pizza oven, but what do we got going
Pizza
on?
oven was for this year. The pizza oven was fresh with a flat top. It was fresh. We also have a griddle press, which is like
Yeah,
a burger press.
Yeah, saw that.
$45 made in America. Great Father's Day gift. I know that's past, but you can give your dad stuff still.
Yeah. Father's Day every day.
Every day's Father's Day.
That's exactly. That's all new. We have some big launches coming this fall that we'll push into the culinary space more.
Okay.
As well as we've got some new furniture stuff coming up. So we make furniture too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Your chairs are phenomenal.
Yeah, we're trying to solve all the problems people have around the fire, and one of them, these Adirondack chairs, became so popular. And you sit in them, you can't get out. Similar to this chair, Ben warned me. But I'm in. So we made an Adirondack style chair that gets you higher up, closer to the fire, easier to eat the food you cooked. It's nice. So we're coming out with more furniture to complement that.
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
In the culinary space, can you give us any teasers?
So,
You'll be able to flex your culinary muscles a little harder than you would have on our normal fire pit.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Use your imagination.
Yeah.
I love the donut rim you put on there. I'm still surprised how hot that thing gets.
Yeah, then we got to get you
So quickly.
We got to get you a flat top. Then you're gonna love it. If you like that sear plate that we have, wait
if you like the sear plate, you're gonna love.
You're it's literally like that's not even a pitch.
He can't stop selling. He's a big. Let's see, what's the acronym? ABC. Always be closing.
Yeah, always be closing.
what
Coffees
he's
for
doing right now.
closers. Yeah,
What was the second part you said?
coffees for closers for Glengarry Glen Ross. Best salesman movie in the world. Should be the playbook for every outside sales guy.
What movie?
Glengarry Glen Ross. You should watch it. Alec Baldwin. It's a really good one.
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Glen Ross. Yep, it's about
That's a movie?
Yeah, we need the leads. Got to have the leads.
All right, I'm
And
gonna
Alec
watch it.
Baldwin comes in to change everybody's mind, and he writes on the board A, B, C. A, always, B, C, closing. And this guy comes in, one of the sales guys, he pours coffee, he goes, pour that out. coffees for closers.
I don't need to watch it. I just did.
Yeah, you don't need to. That's the best scene in the movie. Kind of.
Ross, I've never heard that movie.
You're gonna love
I'm
it.
gonna try it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Always be
Put a
cool.
couple zinnies in, top and bottom, and just
Yeah, just load up on that poison.
Yeah, always be close.
Maybe have a cocktail too. Who knows?
yeah. So more culinary space, all this different stuff. Just like you guys had Josh, Montana Knives. They've been helping us out with some of their culinary knives. We've been using that. We're gonna have a giveaway and stuff coming up with them with their culinary stuff.
They do a good job.
So so we're pushing into that, and same with our friends the Bearded Butchers. They've been helping us out with different meats and cooking that cow and all that different stuff. So fire pit is the base. We want to sell more fire pits for people to gather around, hang out, but we also want to add that value to where it's more than just a fire pit. Cooking, grilling, preparing things for everybody, and just like we came down and did it with you guys. We all sat around just like this, and we all had a hand in it. Right?
That was such a great day.
Yeah, and it's not just one guy at the grill flipping 50 wings anymore. We're all hanging out. We're like, I might have the tongs right now, but I put them down. I walk away to get a new drink or something.
Yep.
You get your hand in there, flip it around. Like it's so culinary space where we want.
And it's a
more
great
cooking.
point too. Just the fire pits. Like forget even the new stuff, the current stuff. It's like if you've ever, whether you're at a campsite, let's say you have no Breeo product, if you're ever in a group setting and someone starts cooking on a fire, just watch the people.
Oh yeah.
Right. And as a host,
Yeah.
like we all want to be good hosts. We always want to like someone comes over, show them a good time.
Yep.
Right. And it's light a fire, light a fire and throw down a steak, and like
Yeah.
everyone's going to gather around.
Yeah.
Whether or not you have a Breeo, just get outside, get active, gather with friends and family.
I'm going to steal that and put it on our website
You can.
Get outside, get active.
because I love it. And everything you have also doubles as a weapon.
Everything
It
is
so
a
well made.
weapon.
So it's,
Or a boat anchor or
whatever you
whatever.
it'll
you
last
need.
well.
or survival. I really think we should push for these
Yes, Drew-
end of the world people.
Drew has a new market established. He would like
End
to
of
go
world
after the
people.
preppers.
Yeah, and Tornado Alley and Hurricane Alley. We got a lot of feedback from people that thanked us for building a strong, heavy product. Unfortunately, when those hurricanes blew through Florida, a lot of people got displaced houses, but our fire pit stayed, and the one guy cooked for his whole community as they were rebuilding because the
What?
fire pit didn't get blown away.
Yep.
They had plenty of wood and stuff, so he had it running and he was cooking.
Did you guys fly down there?
No,
to
we
see
didn't. We
this?
didn't do any of that. We thought it was too soon to do the marketing about it, and then we have that
We didn't
story.
wanna,
and
you
all-
know,
yeah, rub salt in the wound, but it's a good story. Like, and
Yeah,
it's
it's a great
all
story.
true. This guy brought in all this stuff, and it was unbelievable for us because we're not as affected from these natural disasters as most people, but for them to take the time to write us and thank us that this really helped them in one of their biggest times of need, probably in their lives, like.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I said,
awesome.
I said, we got to do something with this. And then we all decided like, it might be a little too soon to be rubbing that one.
Yeah.
Like, let's let them go. But like our stuff's overbuilt, doesn't blow away. Like you don't have to bolt it down. You don't have to worry about it going away. It's, and it's made to last a lifetime. So it's great.
If you haven't already, check them out. Breeo.com now.
.com.
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 All right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to speak too
Thanks.
soon.
Yep.
That's
Domain
the
name
if you
broker.
go through his website and all his capabilities, the very most recent one, domain name broker.
But there's more. I just
There is-
haven't updated.
verbal communication, nonverbal communication, written communication
Yep.
is all listed as
All
capabilities.
my capability. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Don't
Tell them
leave
about
it
the
out.
limousine. Tell them about the limousine.
Oh yeah. So I bought a
What's the
limit.
capability called? And then tell the story.
It would
Relocation,
Yeah.
right?
Unique vehicle
Unique
relocation
vehicle
service.
relocation
Yeah.
services.
I bought a limo in Skagit, Washington, a 93 Lincoln Town Car, mayonnaise outside, pomegranate inside.
Did you say mayonnaise
Yeah,
outside?
it's white. Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. Came
Is that
from
like a pearl white? Maybe.
Yeah, it's no, yeah, there's
Is
a little
is it
pearl
like a,
in there.
Is it so it's like a yellow white?
No, it was
okay.
detailed. It came from the Reno Hilton. It was a fleet vehicle. It was beautiful.
Reno
But I bought it in Washington State and drove it to San Diego, and then we walked over the border into Tijuana because we were worried that the limo might not make it back. We didn't know what was between the seats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hot commodity down there.
And then we were actually racing mopeds, 80s and 70s mopeds, little two-stroke mopeds with pedals from Canada to Mexico down the Pacific Coast Highway, and the limo was
Chase
our
car.
support vehicle. Yeah. It fit all of our stuff. The trunk was huge.
Wait,
beautiful.
who rode these mopeds?
There were 75 teams. It was called the Pinball Run. They did 3 of them. They did one from Maine to Key West, Florida, New Orleans, St. Paul to New Orleans, Louisiana, and then Canada to Mexico.
And you could soup these things up.
Yeah, they rip, dude. They rip. You can make them go really fast.
How fast?
Like over 60 miles an hour on
Really?
bike tires. Yeah. Yeah, Pook mopeds, derby mopeds. It's a whole subculture. It's big. There's a gang in Nashville, and
Really?
we used to come down here for a moped rally every year.
He knows all the subcultures.
Yeah.
You guys
Was that
have.
the Pet Head rally?
Where the fuck did this guy come from?
Yeah. Pet Head is probably the most newer one.
Dude, I played a show at Pet Head's rally one time.
Dope.
That's hilarious.
Dude,
You're a musician?
Yeah.
he does it all.
He does it all.
You're talking about me with subcultures. But yeah, so the limo came back. And
You got him.
got him. Yeah, the limo came back and came back. We drove it back to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because we didn't want it. We thought it was going to die, but it was so well maintained. We started doing
Phenomenal.
we started doing limo gigs when we came. This was 2013, where at the time all our friends were getting married, and our one friend asked us to do her bachelorette party,
Yeah, she
and
did.
we're like, of course.
New side
Why
gig.
not? New side gig, hustle.
Established.
Yeah, so we started Limo Service 717, an underground jitney, which is defunct now. We didn't do don't tell anybody.
What would you wear?
A full regalia like a limo driver. We had the nice hat, the suit coat, white, black tie, all of it. We really hammed it up. And at that time, I worked for a graphics company, so we would personalize it. Like if we did a wedding or whatever, we'd do just married on the window and a big decal or whatever right inside.
Just
it was
using company resources for
yeah,
your side
yeah,
gig.
yeah, you got it. Yeah, Temps United. I also started a whole. There's a lot more. We can go. I should start my own podcast.
I
Just Drew in a room with a mic.
I built a moped.
No guess.
You should.
No, I did.
No guess
Oh
needed.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was in.
Wow, kindred spirits.
Yeah, all over Colombia, they have them, and
Yes.
you buy a kit. So the gas tank goes on a
Yeah,
pedal bike.
yeah.
Gas tank goes up top.
Like
you,
the country?
Columbia.
Yeah,
the country.
Columbia, the country.
Because there's
Yep.
we have a Columbia town by
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
this is in Bogota.
So you
or
built,
Cartagena.
a gas powered bicycle.
Correct.
Yeah.
And a different. What are they called? Sprockets
Yeah,
on the
sprocket, like
back
screws
with
on
a
the
different
bike,
chain.
yeah.
And then the motor goes above your pedals down here under.
Yeah, in the triangle of the frame. Yeah.
And you pedal like hell, then you drop the clutch.
And it starts up.
And I think we do about 30 mile an hour.
Yeah, dangerous on
on a
bike
beach
tires.
cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be alive.
I dismantled it. To tell you
Yeah.
the truth.
yeah.
But now I know there's street gangs.
yeah.
riding
Join the gang.
mopeds.
Join the
Yeah,
gang.
mopedarmy.com. Their slogan is live fast, ride slow. It's awesome. It's a good way to live. They're all over the country. I spent a lot of my time in the 20s traveling. I traveled all over the country by moped. I've seen so many major cities at 20 miles an hour. It's beautiful. You see so much. The world passes you by so quick when you're going 80 in the car.
Would you ride on the shoulder or
No, they're registered legal vehicles, and in a city, you don't displace or make people upset because you're going 25. You're going the speed limit, so it's not an issue. And there's packs of 100 of us. So what are you going to do?
So would you load the mopeds up in the back of a pickup?
Yeah, just like Jay's going up to shoot moose and put moose in the back of his trailer, we'd load them all up in the trailer. Everyone get in a truck, and we'd drive down and unload. There was a group of us in Lancaster that were in a gang, I guess if you want to call
You guys
it.
ever get harassed by like the Hells
Real
Angels?
bikers?
Only once. We were riding on the road and we were going the speed limit. It was like 30 miles an hour. The mopeds were going 30, and these bikers came up behind us. I don't think they were a gang per se, but they were like, get out of here. They were trying to run us off the road and all this
Why
stuff.
aren't you part of the Wizards?
The Wizards, that's a younger gang. They came in. They came in after me. Like
Jay with the hard hitting questions.
I'm retired. I still am a collector. I have the most influential peds and some of the best ones that are
Did you
collectors.
just say influential peds?
Yeah, mopeds, influential pets. Like
Is that what they're called in the bed in the
like-
biz?
No, for me, influenced me. Like the Pook Maxi N, the Pook Magnum, the Derby SLE, and the Derby Variant Sport. Those were my my golden gooses. I wanted those, and I finally have them in my adult life. I 4 years ago, in one town over in Ephrata, PA, I wrote a note to and left it on this moped, and I said, when you sell this, please call me. My name is Drew. Here's my phone number.
Yeah.
He called me a year ago. I
Really?
put that note on his moped 5.5 years ago.
Wow.
His name is Todd. We call him Todd Petty. He's awesome. He sold me this Derby variant sport, and he wanted me to have it because he knew I would take care of it.
Where the hell did he keep this note for 5 years?
I don't know. I have no idea. But when I showed up to buy it, he had a really nice museum quality Chrysler Baron turbo convertible in his garage. And I said, do I need to write another note for this, or are you just going to call me when this is ready?
The
That's all.
Seattle branch has a lot of members. 34 members, 89.
Yeah, what are they?
89 retired.
Is that the puddle cutters?
That is what? That's Portland. This is the mosquito fleet.
Yeah, the mosquito fleet, the land squids, mosquito fleet, petty cash, hot and readies.
What were you?
The human beans. Yeah, human beans was our gang name.
Sioux Falls has one, the Green Bastards.
Yeah,
they only
new.
have 6 members.
Yeah, so there's not many people in Sioux Falls.
Ooh, Grand Rapids, 63 retired.
Yeah,
Ghost Riders.
Moped Army as we know it started in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I have come to find out a lot of things have started in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's like a hub for creativity and stuff like that for weird
Movements.
shit.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know. I just a few of the other ones were like barbershop quartet started out of there, like weird stuff.
So what are the colors of your mopeds? Now I'm curious. Do you have pictures of them?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I feel like this is like a Sam and Drew.
Yeah, it's the Sam and
Sorry,
Drew.
I'm so
Yeah,
curious.
this is a whole
I didn't know
other
this
episode.
whole subculture existed.
Dude, it's bigger than you think, and there's parts availability everywhere. Like
What are the parties like?
They're just your wildest dreams. Like you can't even imagine. So I'll show you the Poop Magnum.
Are there groupies?
Yes. and yeah, Ben will tell you. He played this gig, dude. He played the show.
Yeah, we played on a stage that was like 4 fold-out tables with a bunch of wood across it. So it was like, 4 feet up in the air, incredibly unstable, full kits, drums, guitars. They're pretty rowdy though. Lots of beer drinking.
Yeah, they get sponsored. So that's a Pook Magnum.
She's a beaut.
Yes, that's museum quality. My buddy John
Museum quality.
found that for me up in Connecticut and knew I needed it and bought it for me.
Needed it.
Yeah,
Didn't want it.
it's beautiful.
Had to have it.
I had to have it. So the Pook Magnum is one of the most expensive mopeds that was sold in 1977. So
How
it's
much were they?
like $1,200. So in 77, that's a lot of money.
What are they now?
Like I could probably sell that for $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the market.
If a guy's going to get into the
Pedal
moped game, what should I start with?
A Pook Maxi single speed
Okay.
I'm
E50.
getting one.
Yeah.
You should.
Me too.
You should. They're really
Start an
fun.
outsider chapter. Outsider gang.
Is there one in Nashville already?
No.
Ooh, I see an opportunity. Groundswell movement.
Yeah. So the
2 members.
The Pook Maxi is the easiest one to modify and keep running, and it's a simple machine. I learned a lot about mechanics and how things work and all this stuff from this. Right? People get into like, I'm going to rebuild cars and all this. It's very expensive. The cost of entry is heavy. This, you can blow this thing up and completely rebuild it for under $300. So as a poor college age kid, it was a great hobby. And like we talked about, like when you're finished with something, you're like, yeah, I did that. Like you put that all together and it runs and you ride it and you're like, this is like your second bicycle, right? You get a bicycle as a kid and you're like, I have freedom now. Then you get your driver's license, like I have even more freedom. Then you get this moped and now you're like, I can go anywhere and I get 100 miles to the gallon. It's
How
fun.
big is the tank?
Depends.
two gallons, 3
Depends.
gallons?
This one's almost 2 gallons, but most of them are in the frame. They're about a gallon or a little under. So you get about 100 miles, 75 miles.
That's crazy.
Do they sell them brand new?
They do. One manufacturer still sells them. They're called Tomos, Tomos, and they're made in Slovenia or Slovakia. They're still brand new. They're oil injected. They're modern. But the older stuff I like a lot better. It's more styled better.
Could you find us some mopeds?
Oh, it's easier than you think. Just from, so the gas crisis happened. The answer is yes. The gas crisis happened in the 70s, right? So there was an embargo. We couldn't get fuel here. Fuel prices skyrocketed. Europe already had these things. They started importing them by the millions in the 70s, and everybody bought them because they were cheap and expensive, 100 miles to the gallon. We were more urban dwelling then. If you're in the country, you're already out there. Like we're just started sprawling as a society around now, but they're there. The way you find them is once you get your first one, everyone will say, oh, my grandpa's got one of those in the shed. Oh, can I buy it? Sure, you can have it. I've been given mopeds from people just seeing like, just get it out of my shed. You can have it.
Yeah.
Your current collection is 4?
Yeah, 4 and 1 dismantled. It's a General 5-star that had a Minarelli motor on it, but I cut the subframe out to put a Derby motor on it. And I had my buddy runs a body shop, and a Porsche came through that needed some work, and he had a pint of this paint left over. So I have some like Carrera 4S 911 pearlescent purple paint tank painted that I've been waiting to build, but I've been focusing on my work.
I don't think I understood 4 words. You just
That's fine. The general community will. You have a whole other viewership.
The
that's
general
gonna
public
join.
will not.
Yeah, the public will not, but the community
I mean,
will.
we need the moped army to tune into this one.
They
Yeah.
will.
Sir.
They will. They probably will. Yeah,
I'm going to get one.
You should.
I'm gonna get one.
It's a fun way to tinker around. It's great to buzz around because you just need a driver's license. I don't know what the law. It's probably lawless down here in the South. You can do it. But like up in PA, it needs to be titled. You just got to get it registered. You just need a normal driver's license. That's another thing. You don't need to get a motorcycle license. You can just putt around.
Well, this has been
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, and they all
a lot of topics.
I didn't see this one coming.
Wide ranging.
No, well, I can't wait to be back. Right, we got a lot more to talk about.
I can't wait.
Maybe we'll do it a remote one.
Maybe
in
we'll jump you in
Alaska.
our moped gang.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll
You'd be like
figure
an
out.
honorary member.
Yeah, figure out your initiation, and then I'll decide.
We got to figure out our name first.
Yeah. Ben, have a good moped name.
Inside Outsider.
I'll be brainstorming.
All right.
Yeah, Ben's ready.
Ben's on the
There's
case.
your third member.
Just flying back
There
today?
you go.
Yeah, we're gonna fly back today. Turn
time?
and burn.
Hour and a half.
Oh shit, you guys need to roll.
No, we're good.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we're good. We fly away at 4.
Oh, okay.
It's like 3:45, I think.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys making the trip and coming on.
yeah, man.
Absolutely. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot for
Thanks for
having us.
inviting us down.
Excited for hear about this Alaska.
You got to come visit.
adventure.
Yeah.
Got to come anytime.
We will.
Drew said he's taking over the company now, so
Yeah,
we're in good
it's
hands.
in good hands. It's really good hands.
Good opportunity to tell your work closely story.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, like I spoke before, I speak very passionately about our products, all this stuff. I'm pretty much the face of Breeo out there at all the events, and people are like, "Are you
Breeo is me.
the
I am
owner?
Breeo.
Are you the owner?" And I go, "No, I'm not the owner, but I work very closely with the owner." And not everybody knows that John is the owner. And we were at an event, the same one out in Vegas, and John's on the fire pits cooking, like it's 80 to 90 degrees in Vegas on a parking lot. And someone asked me that, and I go, "No, but I work very closely with the owner." And John just like starts smirking because the owner was 4 feet away, and I'm working very closely with him. So it's
I get it.
Yeah. So it's funny. So yeah, the company is in great hands. We do have a solid team of people. We got some great sales guys, customer service. Our production team's amazing. The shipping guys are killing it over there. Like I said before, the culture and the community we have just as a company inside the office is amazing. Like everybody helps. Flexible is one of our core values. Fearless feedback's another one. We tell each other like it is, and you don't take it personally. You know, it's all business. Yeah, it's
The
fun.
blue gloves were personal.
The blue gloves were personal, but for me, it was all business. And I took care of business. Every time I pulled that trigger, a bird fell. I knew it was the blue gloves. It was the blue gloves.
He did. I will give Drew credit. He shot very, very well for
Yeah.
his first ever.
Yeah, no pressure.
We actually put a lot of pressure on you. You still shot very
Yeah,
well.
it was. Yeah, we spoke about that after they said,
But dexterity like that, how can you
"Yeah,
not?
Drew, you get the first birds." I go, and then later I'm like, "That was a lot of pressure, guys." Like,
Yeah, we were all just sitting there watching.
yeah, it was fun. Well, thanks for having us on, guys. It's great to be down here amongst this heat wave.
Yeah, it's
But,
warm.
Yeah, we left warm and came down to warmer, and we're flying back to warm.
1 year anniversary of us hanging out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we met you guys a year ago. Feels
Really,
just like yesterday.
really fun getting to know you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
I can't wait to visit you in Alaska. I really want to kill a caribou.
Yes. Well, that's one of the easiest ones to pull off. So
Perfect.
Kill a moose.
next August, come kill caribou.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome.
we'll do.
Check them
All
out.
right.
Breeo.com. Fire pits, pizza ovens, accessories. You want to pub your
Fireside
website?
Furniture. Yeah, and drewdbell.com. Let's see if we can get over 100 views. I've never
Awesome.
had that many visitors.
Cool. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.